Guys, we just watched Team Naventic take on King of Blades Alpha here in the Heroes of the Storm North American Regionals. I'm Anna Prosser-Robinson, I'm your host, and I'm stoked to be here with you, guiding you through all the action. As you can see, it has been some killer moments so far. That last match ended in a 2-0, but if you're looking at me and saying, Anna, I just woke up, I slept in all through Saturday like a scrub, I wasn't watching Heroes like I should have been, don't worry, I got you. Let's take a look at the bracket, I'll get you up to speed. Now, first of all, we saw Tempo Storm and Panda Global face off in a 3-game series to open up the day. That was very special. Tempo Storm did manage to advance 2-1. Then Team Naventic and King of Blades Alpha just faced off. Team Naventic was able to clinch that with a 2-0, even despite Zuna having broken his glasses right before the match began. So one-eyed there. Now we're going to be going into the lower bracket match. We're going to see Panda Global face off against King of Blades Alpha. And this time, we have some new faces to introduce you to. We just had Dreadnought and Jake, Solid Jake. I always want to call him Jack Egg because you get in trouble when you're a host and you call people things that they're not actually called anyways. We had them. They did a great job, but now it's time for some fresh faces. How are you two doing, Gillyweed and Zoya?
Thank you, Anna. We're doing great, you graceful rainbow unicorn. I am Gillyweed, and I'm so pumped to be here, but I'm also super pumped that I'm here with my good friend and co-commentator, Zoya. How you doing, friends?
I'm doing really good, Gilly. I'm really excited to be here, and luckily, Anna, I'm not a host. I can call Jake Jack Egg all I want, so I'll make sure, people know what his true name is.
Thank you. It's a whole thing, I know. And thank you both, especially you, Gillyweed, my beautiful, flavorful fruit plucked from a mango tree at sunset. I love you very dearly. And if you love Gillyweed very dearly and you would like to let her know via social media, don't forget to include the hashtag HGC. That will let us know that you're trying to talk to us. And feel free to tweet all of us, casters, hosts, any of us. Tell us what you think of these matches. And especially as we go into this next match, tell us which team you like. The first one, your first option, option A, as it were, is a team that really, really wanted that first match. They managed to get 1, but not 2 of the games. And this time, they're really out for blood. It's Panda Global.
There goes Michael Udall and Aka Face, both players from Heroes of the Dorm 2015, and they are looking real fresh. They had a great set versus Tempo Storm Gilly, and I'm excited to see what they're going to bring in this one.
Michael Udall, known for having a separate Twitter account that is not actually run by him, but all dedicated toward his hair, and I can't blame him.
He has fantastic hair. I mean, that is one handsome young man. And look at that hair. Oh, wow. Those, I mean, you can't even really speak about it. He is just the perfect human form.
Leaves you speechless. Well, here are some of the stats that we have, and we did see both Stitches and Lunara from them in their first set. They had a very close one versus Tempo. We'll see if they're able to clinch a victory and go over King of Blades and get back.
Did you call him the perfect human boy, Zoya?
The perfect human form.
Oh, perfect human form.
He's the perfect human form.
As opposed to
That's
like
Michael.
the perfect panda form or like palm tree form, any of those things?
I mean,
I like how specific you are. I like that. Well, let's specifically introduce our next team. They're challengers, King of Blades Alpha.
King of Blades having a rough start to the day, but it's tough to go up against such a big titan in North America. Here, I have to feel that they're much more relaxed. And you have to keep in mind, they just came off a play, and they're warmed up, and they're ready to go, Gilly.
They are. Frozen X there on the left. He is Damien, and he is their captain.
Damien the man.
Damien is the man. But, all of them, you mentioned that they are coming off of playing, and that may mean that they're a little bit tired. So they're really going to have to test their endurance here, seeing some of their stats, too. And we'll see if they can get back onto Infernal Shrines and be able to clinch some victories there from Panda Global.
You guys are really interested in Michael Udall's hair, but I think King of Blades Alpha might have more hair on their team, especially after Michael Udall's haircut. So we may see that be an advantage. Who knows? But guys, we're ready to get into this match. Again, don't forget to use the hashtag HGC. Let us know who you think might win. And now these two teams are going to have to decide who they are going to use, what tools they will put on the field of battle to get that win. Let's get into the draft, casters.
You know, this is going to be a really fun set. These two teams, you know, they play against each other a lot. I believe they're
They
scrim
do.
partners, so,
Yeah.
you know, they're very well versed with each other's play styles.
Yeah, in fact, King of Blades Alpha has mentioned that they see Panda Global as a little bit of a rival, but it's more of a friendly rivalry in that they play versus each other a lot. Panda Global did knock them out of one of the qualifiers and kept them from being able to advance in that, made them play in another one too. So they do see each other as friends and rivals, and that could influence a lot in the draft because they do know each other's play styles so well.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, this is going to be Battlefield of Eternity. We just saw Panda Global play on that map versus Tempo Storm, and they had an unfortunate loss there. Tempo Storm just was able to control the early game and then snowed up all that into very two quick keeps, and then go for a core push. So we'll have to see how Panda Global wants to change up their draft for this game. They did the double melee assassin style. They had Zeratul and Thrall that game, and that's starting to become the meta right now. But will they be willing to run it again?
Yeah, both of those teams have players who like to play those melee assassin roles.
Yes.
We've got Som on the side of Panda Global, and then Tomster.
Tomster's so good.
Tomster is so good. And, speaking of Tomster, I was able to sit down with King of Blades Alpha a little bit, and they were so nice enough to let me hang out in their comms with them a bit. And I was asking them what they feel confident in being able to draft, and immediately they said a Tomster-specific pick. That's who they go for. That's when they feel good, when they can get a pick for him specifically.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the up-and-coming melee assassins. Talking Trees as well also loves to play more of that flex style. He said his favorite hero himself is Zeratul. And, you mainly see him on those ranged heroes, but he does enjoy the extra melee assassins.
Yeah, he also plays a lot of Tazadar, and we saw that before as well. We'll see if that continues to be an early pickup for them, and we do have a poll that you guys could take to see who will win using the hashtag HGC and the hashtag of the team you believe is going to win. It looks like 75% rooting for Panda Global here, believing they're going to take it. They did have a great set versus Tempo Storm. Nearly was able to pick it up there, Zoya.
Yeah, I mean, Panda Global is going to be the clear favorite in this matchup, but King of Blades Alpha was my dark horse for this tournament. And in our bracket predictions we recently did, Gilly, I put King of Blades Alpha winning this set versus Panda Global. So, they are the underdog, but if they play their game right and they get the drafts they want, they have a very good chance of beating Panda Global.
Yeah, they're up against a scrim partner, so anything goes. And the fact that they know them too, they've got to feel a little more confident there too, because they know that they've taken some games off of them in scrims, because it always happens in scrims. So if you can even just envision that, say like, oh, we're going up against a team that we have beaten before, so we can definitely do it again.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they're willing to bring to the table. Dark Chimera, one of my favorite supports in North America. He's really starting to come into his own as a support. And initially, I felt he had a very weak hero pool. You'd only see him on a few characters, but now I'm really impressed with his Lieutenant Morales play.
His Morales!
He's really good at positioning with
so
him.
Good.
He's so good. And he's starting to become better. Every one of these teams, a few months ago, I did not look at King of Blades and was impressed with anyone, but now Tomster is starting to be, he reminds me of what iDream looked like a year and a half ago, right? Before iDream became, arguably the best player in the world, right?
Oh, yeah.
Tomster is starting to show signs of, this guy's got real talent.
He's very young, too. I believe he's 17 years old, so one of the youngest players, if not the youngest, here in the hero scene. But we've got Panda Global, and they are such a big opponent for them to be able to try to beat here, because Panda Global has had a very long-running roster, and in these past few months, Zoya, they have improved in leaps and bounds.
Yeah, B-Kid is a fantastic player. For a while, I thought he was on the verge of becoming one of the better warriors in North America, and he still has that potential. It's just warriors in place. But we do have the draft now starting, guys. Really excited. First ban going to be on Thrall, denying that aggression and that really solid laner here on this map. And we did see that Panda Global ran Thrall versus Tempo Storm on this map.
Yeah, and just the fact that it is Battlefield of Eternity, being able to put consistent damage down, Thrall is great at that too, and be right up there to try to burn down the Immortal as fast as possible. But
Orc Boys.
Yeah, Orc Boys getting banned once again. I think we've had that twice now, as Thrall and Rhaegar are going to be the two bans.
Zagara first pick, I don't think anyone's surprised about that. That's been a theme throughout the day. Even Bob Ross, or excuse me, Naventic, picked up Zagara first pick one game. So no surprise seeing that. King of Blades Alpha, how will they respond with their next two picks? They have a lot on the table. We've been seeing an interesting change-up in styles today. We've been seeing some teams prioritize. It was actually King of Blades Alpha specifically. They, in their first rotation, picked up ETC, which is not something we see too often.
Also, Lunara has been it seems, climbing further and further up in priority for the draft for these teams, and both of these teams have Lunara players, so we could see that very early on here. It's Big Impact's favorite hero right now because of how, you know, how fast she is. She's pretty slippery, I think is what he called her, but then also the fact that she can just put consistent damage, and once she gets Nature's Culling at 7, can really, really pressure that Immortal.
King of Blades Alpha did not walk away from their set versus an Eventic without anything. They've learned the power of Sonya. Sonya having an 81%, yes, 81% involvement rate in the Korean Star League.
Wow.
And Eventic made it look really good in that last set. So King of Blades, walking away, having not learned anything, right? They know the power of Sonya, and they're willing to pick it up really early.
And not only Sonya, but they also have Jaina too. So they've got very strong damage picks here. Moving into or getting those before the next set of bans is really nice. And now it's up to Panda Global. You know, they are in that first pick position, so they need to make sure that they have a really strong draft going in, because it's going to be 4 heroes before they're able to finish out their composition. They're going to start that off with Greymane, and you know, with both teams having Greymane players, that's a pretty high priority of him.
Yeah,
at least in NA.
In NA, I mean, across all regions, we're seeing Greymane being on the rise lately.
Yeah.
Just a little bit slower here in North America, as Korea and Europe both, adopted the Greymane playing a bit quicker. But we're finally seeing it start to catch on here, and it's impressive. When you know your limits and when you can go in and secure kills, it's really powerful. But that's going to be the Muradin pickup. No surprise there. I mean, B-Kid for a while was considered the best Muradin until King Caffeine really just took control of that character and made it his own. B-Kid just, when Muradin wasn't the meta, he was the one running it all the time, and he looks really good on it.
Yeah, and it's always very nice to have a Muradin here on a Battlefield of Eternity, because if you can line up those stuns correctly, you can potentially get a stun into a stun from the Immortal too, and then from there your team will just be able to jump on them. And with somebody like Greymane, with Zagara in the back too, being able to zone people away with the Devouring Maw, that could be very scary for King of Blades.
King of Blades is going to go ahead and deny the Zeratul. They do know that Panda Global saw very good at it. An interesting ban coming out from Panda Global. I do like the Tassadar. I think I might have liked an Uther ban a little bit more. If you look at how Neventic just played, as well as in Korea, Uther has a 94% involvement rate, and it's often paired with Sonya. And those two are disgusting together. Not very many NA or EU teams right now are running Uther, except for Neventic, and it's with Sonya. So I would love to see if they're still, practicing it. If Dark Chimera has, his Uther up the notch, I would love to see an Uther pick up here from King of Blades Alpha.
We'll see if they do that, or if they're wanting to pull out Morales because of the fact that they would have, Stim Drone, and because we were talking about Dark Chimera's great Morales play earlier on. But, with the Tassadar ban, we see people pair Tassadar with Sonya together too, and even his shields can really enable the rest of the team to brawl as much as Sonya wants to brawl. And King of Blades Alpha plays a lot of Tassadar, so it could just be a targeted ban specifically for that reason.
So there is the Morales. It is going to be the Morales. I mean, going for a comfort pick here, I think that the Uther Sonya play will catch on across all regions very, very soon, but it's better to be safe right now. And what we talked about it before the draft even started, Dark Chimera, this is his best support right now.
Right.
His positioning is phenomenal.
Yeah, and your life's on the line in this series. This is our first elimination match of many to get to our 2 teams who will be going to Seoul, South Korea at the beginning of April. But now Panda Global, with their final 2 pickups here, still going to need a support, and then whatever they will do. A lot of times I think Big Impact 2 plays that. Okay, so it is going to be Tyrande here. We'll see if that's going to be solo, yeah.
Well, to see here what they want to lock in. We do often see, and I believe Panda Global did run it versus Tempo Storm game number 2, Tassadar Tyrande support, but Tass is banned, so they cannot pick that here. So will it be solo support Tyrande, or will we see something else? Maybe a Karazim here, a little bit of extra mobility and help with the burst, or will we see that Uther? He's very loved in Korea. Like I said, a 91% involvement rate, or excuse me, 94% involvement rate in Korea, and Sonya's got a lower involvement rate. So the Koreans really love Uther. They're picking him almost as much as Rhaegar. And
but it is Panda Global, which means Brightwing always has to be a consideration.
Yeah,
it's Akaface. He loves Brightwing, and that's why I love Akaface, but it's going to be Karazim. Okay, so he likes both of them. He loves the mobility that both offer, but Karazim has really been seeming to fall off a lot, Zoya.
Yeah, he's in an interesting spot here. 7-sided strikes was what mainly made him a part of the meta. He adds the great damage, double warrior. Those heavy front lines are not as common anymore, as well as cleanse isn't valued as much anymore. And that was one of the big things, is being able to have that versatility with the extra mobility with cleanse, being able to dart in, save someone, and get out. And so that, he's fallen off pretty heavily. We still sometimes see him with like the pseudo support style, like Tyrande Tass, that are mixed in with the Kharazim. So we'll see him busted out here. King of Blades Alpha with their last pick. I doubt they're going to go solo Warrior Sonya here. They're thinking really hard. I mean, ETC is still on the table. Stitches is available. I think I would like Joanna here personally.
Yeah, they play a lot of Joanna, so and some ETCs from what I've seen in their play. So I think that's a good potential there. If they could get a good condemn into the Blizzard, I mean, there's Whirlwind too, so they've got a lot of potential to hit that, and it will be Joanna, so great choice there.
Joanna herself. We've seen her a lot today. We saw Tempo Storm, I believe, run her all 3 games versus Panda Global earlier. It was just really great tanky front line, and the cool thing about Indestructible at level 20 is, no one wants to kill Joanna whenever she has Indestructible, because you're going to get her so low, you blow everything, and then suddenly she doesn't die, right? Suddenly she's still very healthy. So you find yourself in the backline as Joanna, just doing as much damage as you can, as much disruption as possible, because they're not going to kill you, right? If they try and kill you, then your team's going to kill them. So Joanna, really cool in these kind of compositions.
So looking at the fights around Immortals and maybe the race to take down the Immortals, do you have a favorite? I'm maybe favoring Panda Global a bit more. They have really good poke between Greymane and Zagara, and then of course they have Hunter's Mark to add to that too. But then again, you can't discount Lunara, especially when she gets Nature's Calling, and Sonya too. It's
a pretty close race. You have to talk about Lunara. Her siege damage is insane, especially at level 7 when she gets Nature's Calling. You also have to talk about Joanna, though. She's not so good at sieging, but her disruption of the opponents when they're sieging your Immortal. You have the blind, which makes you miss auto attacks. You have the condemn that throws you off a little bit. So
we saw that earlier.
We did see that earlier.
Tempo, I think it was Stray that was doing that.
Yeah, it was on this very map. So you can be very aggressive with it. So you're not missing out on too much siege damage because it's Joanna versus the Immortals, but you're also, not falling too far behind. But here's our drafts, guys, and I'm really liking these 2 compositions. I feel that King of Blades Alpha got a really good comfort comp for them. These are heroes that they all love playing, but Panda Global, man, this is just... There's so much aggression coming out of their style, and that's what they thrive on. They're an aggressive team. That's what we've always known Panda Global for. Back before they picked up Psalm, Michael Udall was their flex player, and he played Kerrigan almost every single game.
He did, but he's going to be on that Tyrande, and we've seen a lot of Tyrande play from him in the past, too. So as we get into the game soon, this will be game number 1 between Panda Global and King of Blades Alpha.
And here we go, guys, loading in the game. Keep in mind, this is an elimination match for these teams. Very, very exciting. And here on the left-hand side of the map in the blue chunks, it's going to be Panda Global. Big Impact playing Zagara. Psalm playing the Greymane there. B-Kid on Muradin. Akaface on Kharazim. And Michael Udall rounding out the team on Tyrande.
And their opponents, we just saw them face Team Naventic. Can they beat King of Blades Alpha here? Or can they beat Panda Global? We have King of Blades Alpha with Tomster playing Sonya, Dark Chimera playing Lieutenant Morales, Frozen X on that Lunara, Collusion playing Johanna, and finally, we'll be Talking Trees playing Jaina.
Now it should be Zagara versus Sonya in those solo lanes, Gilly. Sonya is a very solid solo laner, but she's not one that usually wins out the lane. She usually just ends up stalling it out. Zagara and Thrall only want to truly know how to push in a lane as those solo laners here. We do see the teams contesting in the middle. And a lot of damage actually going down on Joanna. Indestructible, Iron Skin has been used. Nice dash out from Akaface, but they might get the kill. A nice kill from Frozen X. First blood going to the King of Blades Alpha.
I like the King of Blades came in here. They know that they have a lot of lockdown too. And the fact that when you have that Zagara, you're looking to try to move in there with the team and place down a couple of creep teamers so that it's built out by the time you get to that first Immortal phase. So they knew that they were going to be able to catch them there, and with that, be able to get the first blood of the game.
Well, we'll have to see here how this top lane's going to go out. Zagara, very good at bullying out Sonya. When you throw the Hydras on him, it just forces him to back out. Now, he won't ever lose the game because spinning to win on the minions will keep him sustained up, but he will not be able to outpush the Zagara. Here in the bottom lane, we do see a pretty big stalemate here. BK and Michael Udall looking for the pressure, though. When we saw in that first fight, they're not afraid to go for collusion there on the Joanna.
So we'll see if we're going to get into a fight. I wanted to talk about Frozen X on Lunara. This build that we have coming out so far is going to be Cruel Spores, which is more of a talent that you pick to try to be able to push better because you can have that crippling spores up more often for the minions. Not something we see a lot from a lot of the NA teams, but I have seen it quite a bit in the European scene, so maybe taking a little bit of emphasis from that.
Tomster seeming to struggle there in the top lane as a big them comes down from collusion, and a lot of damage going down the Michael Udall. They're trying to kite back, but the poke from Frozen X is so good, not going to be able to secure that kill there. But great aggression coming out from King of Blades Alpha. I mean, you know, Panda Global known for their aggression here. They're getting punished quite a bit. Big Impact actually doing a lot of damage to Tomster. Tomster, whoa, really overextending there. I don't know what he was thinking versus Big Impact, but that's a very easy kill for Panda Global.
Now Michael was low on mana, gonna have to use his well tap to come back in here. Great Lunar Flare goes down onto Dark Chimera, and Panda Global get another takedown, but is Akaface gonna go down? No, he does have a Breath of Heaven to keep himself alive.
You just saw how the experience from these guys as a team, they all three collapsed on top of him. Frozen X, oh, the Stormbolt does end up missing from B-Kid, so Frozen X is not gonna go down, but you saw them all three collapse together to body block for Akaface so he could get away. Really well done from Panda Global there, and they're getting a pretty big advantage right now as almost no damage has been done to their Immortal.
Yep, Bella at the halfway point. They're going to clash in the middle and then go to their next point. And we'll see where that will be. It looks like it's going to be on the opposite side. So this should be really easy for Panda Global to now continue and just burn down. We're going to see King of Blades try as much as possible to just limit the amount of shield that is going to come out with that first Immortal.
Pretty big win here for Panda Global. I mean, still 1350 on their Immortal, so they have a lot of shields left up on this Gilly as level 4 has finally been hit by both teams. And it looks like we're going to be seeing advanced block on Morales.
Yeah, advanced block, really nice. It's going to be a good one, especially, you know, if Greymane, he starts to come in there too. Once he gets into Worgen form, his auto attacks do 40% extra damage, so you really want to be able to block any of that you possibly can.
Well, here comes a pretty big push here, and we do see that Karazim rotated up. I like this decision. They still have the pseudo support with Michael Udall on Torada to help keep them alive, and they're able to have Zagara with the push doing so much more siege damage. Good rotation from Panda Global, and a lot of damage going on to Collusion, but great heals from Chimera.
Yeah, I love having Michael Udall here. Tomster's going to come out, and they might punish him for it now too. He's going to use the Whirlwind to try to be able to get through everyone, and I love Dr. Morales when the healing beam goes down. It's a nice little heart around her teammate.
So far, a really good defense so far from King of Blades, though. They get it down to half HP before it starts hitting on the fort, but a big stun goes down onto Tomster. He's got the spin. He's doing a lot of damage, and great heals from Dark Chimera, keeping him alive. Beacon has to Dwarf Toss out of there, but will he get killed by the Joanna? And he does end up falling out. Big impact in a launchable. Great Condemn coming out from Collusion. That's going to be 2 easy kills for King of Blades Alpha, but they did not actually lose the fort. It's still standing. Gilly and Psalm just might go down. One more slam. No. Just barely going to survive there, but a great hold. They didn't lose the fort, and they got 2 kills, Gilly.
Yeah, look at the experience. They're even ahead even though they lost that, and now they're taking advantage of that by getting some towers down. So they're going to further that experience advantage and look to have that as we get into the next Immortal phase very soon.
Level 7 almost here for King of Blades. We're getting very close to that next Immortal. It's only a minute 45 between the death and the next spawn. Very short timer for a map objective, mainly because it's a 2-lane map. There's not much you can do in between that downtime, so you see these contentions happening very, very quickly.
And level 7, that's the big deal because of that Nature's Culling for Lunara now. Extra damage to non-heroic targets, 200% from her Nature's Toxin, and that's going to be just huge when it comes to Immortals, but also just sieging down structures. It's crazy how much damage you can do with that.
This is a huge tier for King of Blades Alpha. You see that Lieutenant Morales end up getting cleansed, which is the go-to on her for the most part. But we're seeing that most of Panda Global's damage comes out in that B-Kid Michael Udall combo, the Miranda stuns. And if he can cleanse that instantly, that's a lot of damage that they're going to be avoiding here. Great aggression coming out from Tomster onto Akaface. They're going to force them to back out and reposition. But that next Immortal should be spawning very, very soon here. And I mean, if you take a look at that Wisp, it is just scouting around like crazy here. They are making they're just making sure they have full vision on the map. This is really, really well done. I mean, look how far away that Lunara Wisp is. That is such a great job from Frozen X.
Yeah, and it's so nice to be able to keep an eye on those fallen shaman, because if those get picked up right before the Immortal phase and you don't deal with them, they can really start to take down some structures. They are a fantastic sieging camp, even though they're the bruisers.
Yeah, really, it's really troublesome if you leave those things up. But the Immortals have spawned. Panda Global getting onto King of Blades Alpha much quicker than the rotation from King of Blades. This is actually a really sloppy rotation coming out from them. They're so far behind, and wow, already halfway down. King of Blades, they need to realize these timings a little bit better and rotate. I mean, they weren't getting a camp. They weren't, they're still soaking lanes. That was really, really interesting.
Well, we'll see if they're able to come back from that. They are going to try to defend as much as possible. Maybe they can try to force some of Panda Global into some stuns, as some of the stuns are going to come out from Bella. If they do get a Condemn onto B-Kid, he's taking a lot of poison damage and will have to back out, so they've successfully defended this for now. But the poke that Panda has between Zagara and between Greymane, like this, they can't just sit here and take that for forever.
We'll have to be very careful. Collusion already at half HP, has to be healed up by Dark Chimera. Good job so far. But I agree with you, Gilly. This is a very very tough spot for King of Blades because at this point, they're eventually going to lose this, and they're not getting damage in the Panda Global. Probably would have been better just to trade out initially. They were going to lose no matter what, but they could have gotten more damage on the Panda Globals more. But they're going for some damage here on the Face. He's taking some decent damage. Thompson really overextended, though. Condemn goes down on the B-Kid, and Big Impact. They're kiting back as well as they can. They should be able to get out of here, but still, they're just stalling out this Immortal. They don't have people soaking lanes. There's no Falstad or Abathur out there getting on extra experience. They're getting nothing out of this stall here.
Do you see the positioning, too, where we have Psalm underneath? So when they pull the whole team of King of Blades up, Psalm goes in with his Gilnean Cocktail and just does damage as much as possible. And then, you know, they can just come right back into when everyone starts to move back. And in fact, Psalm starting to go in as a Worgen. Might get punished for it, though, as a Condemn comes down. He's taking some poison damage. Nature's Toxin pushing him back, too, in the top, though.
That's exactly what they're doing. Okay, so they're using the Lunara poison. They slowly just, Frozen X rotates down, does as much damage as he can, and then will rotate back up. And they're starting to whittle it down. They're starting to stall this out. Lunara poison lasts a long time, and you just apply it once and you walk away. So, you know, they're trying to make this work. This is actually pretty surprising, but a nice double stun comes out from Michael Udall, and Trees does just barely go down. Nice secure kill from B-Kid, and they're trying to fight on top of Collusion, but above, they're going for Big Impact. Thompson zoned out pretty hard. Face trying to force back Frozen X, but the Immortal is going to end up going down over to Panda Global.
I mean, we talked about it. Yes, they had a strategy for trying to come back in that Immortal phase, but it was only a matter of time, and they were spread so thin having Lunara down there. They just had to wait until the team was a little bit separated and then go for it. But even if they hadn't, you know, Panda Global is ahead in the experience, and they're about to get heroic abilities. Hunter's Mark going to go down on Tomster, but does not get hit by Lunar Flare, but they will be able to still pick up the takedown on Sonya.
Yep, good auto attacks coming out from Toronto to help secure that kill, and that's going to be level 10. It's going to be Avatar, of course, no surprise there. Go for the throat. 7 side strike, Shadow Stalk, as well as Devouring Maul here.
All right, so 7-sided strike. Maybe going to be looking to see if it can catch Sonya a little bit too far forward, looking to come in from the side. But man, poison damage is rough. There are several members of Panda Global are low. They're having a hard time trying to push in with this, but still, because it was such a healthy Immortal, they will be able to get that fort. Bottom fort also very low from the last push too, so Panda Global with the good structure lead here in this game.
Stim Drone this game picked up from Lieutenant Morales. I mean, you can do so much damage with Lunara when you throw it on her late game. The auto attacks are insane. This bottom fort's still somehow standing for King of Blades. Michael Udall going to go over in Lunar Flare, and that's going to be the death of it. So both forts down now for King of Blades Alpha, and now Panda Global has secured themselves a 1-level lead.
Okay, well now looking into the next phase, we're going to have King of Blades Alpha going for their bruisers pretty early on. You know, it's nice to have this pushing so that you can maybe get back with the push into the other lanes, but it's also really nice to save those the cap points as much as possible so that they're pushing during the Immortal phase. So we'll see if that gets cleaned up before that.
You'll have to keep an eye on that. It's a pretty big advantage, but it's a small map, so you can rotate. Unlike Infernal Shrines, sometimes the shrine will spawn at the bottom while you have Mercs pushing top. This map's a little bit different, so you can take time to rotate over, but Karazim taking a lot of damage. Condemn goes down. Interesting decision to not use Blessed Shield there. I feel that they could have potentially gotten that kill in that bottom, but they're going to go ahead and let him get away here. It's all 5 members of King of Blades Alpha. The rotation's coming from the rest of Panda Global, but let's see how much siege damage they can get here, Gilly.
All right, Panda Global slightly ahead in experience. They're going to try to make sure they've got, you know, Zagara soaking up top to make sure that they can try to get those 13 talents so that they will have that advantage in the next Immortal phase. King of Blades starting to come in. Lunar Flare does connect onto Talking Trees, but still staying very safe with the Safeguard. And as long as Dark Chimera can stay safe in the back, he's going to be able to keep everyone healed up for a very long time.
Well, we do see that level 13 almost here for Panda Global. They're willing to just stall this out. They know that with the Immortal spawning very, very soon, they're going to have a significant advantage. So they can either choose to siege theirs pretty uncontested, or they can invade their opponents because they will have that talent advantage. It's spawning in 20 seconds, and we still don't have level 12 for King of Blades.
Now, next Immortals in just a few seconds, 15 more. And yeah, we're going to definitely have 13 for Panda Global. We'll see what things that they choose to pick up as they're starting to rotate around. But I mentioned before, you know, they've got Lieutenant Morales, and they've got these 2 good frontliners between Johanna and Sonya. So as we get later into the game, too, it could become a problem for Panda Global where she's able to just really effectively keep everyone healed up through that poke. And they might have to take a more risky play to try to get on top of her.
Interesting decision from Panda Global. I feel like I would have preferred them to contest. They do end up going for the race, though, and they do get a slight lead here. We'll see where these Immortal spawn. Will the RNG be in their favor? And it is. They're going to be able to try and burn this down. We'll see how low King of Blades can get it. Joanna not opting to disrupt, going to try and get as much CGM as possible. And this is going to be a pretty nice win here for Panda Global as they get their second Immortal, and this is going to be pushing keeps now.
Yep, and that Hunter's Mark really helps out with that too. So now the fact that they were able to get that, it's not as big of a shield as we've seen in the past. fast ones too, but still the fact that they have a little bit longer of a talent advantage. But it does take a while for the Immortal to push up. So it's something where maybe King of Blades can try. We see them in both lanes, but the top lane is pretty pushed out, so it's hard for them to feel safe soaking that.
Well, here comes the Immortal pushing bottom. All of Panda Global is here. They can definitely get front wall, but King of Blades Alpha would really have to overextend for them to get much more than that. They'd have to get a few kills to be able to siege. It's so hard to siege into a Lunara and a Jaina that are just constantly just dropping spells on top of you, getting that insane poke. We'll see what they can do with this, though. It's already lost its shields here. It's dying very, very quickly.
Yeah, and Collusion's going to start to come back out. They're doing what they can, but you can see how scared they are of that Lunara too, because they were staying pretty far back there. Starting to come into, Stormbolt connects onto Collusion, but with the Unstoppable, the Iron Skin, she will be able to get out. Takes a bunch of damage, is able to tank a lot of those abilities.
You see the Keep is taking a lot of siege damage, but I think they'll be able to force them off this, and they're going to try and fight here. Beacon taking a lot of damage. Bless Shield does end up coming out. A big Shadow Slot gets used. Maw catching 2 members here. Can they get a kill outside of it? Talking Trees kiting back. Here comes the Maw. The stun does go out, and they do secure a kill onto Joanna. Thompson taking a lot of damage as well. Trying to get the kill on the Stomp. A big spin, but not enough to keep him alive. Stomp very low to Lunara. A nice Ice Block coming out from Talking Trees, but he's going to go down anyway. Great heals coming out from both Akaface and Michael Udall, keeping his team alive, and that is a 3-for-0 exchange. They're going to get this keep, Gilly.
Yeah, that is huge that they were able to continue to turn that, even though King of Blades had the 13, knew they wanted to go on that. And a really big deal too is Som was so low in health, and he was able to dodge that Noxious Blossom that Lunara threw out. That was the last ditch. They almost were able to get that takedown and the comeback experience there, but they just didn't quite have it. And with that now, they have lost one of their 2 valuable keeps.
I do want to highlight something that King of Blades Alpha did in that fight, and it's part of the reason why Karazim has fallen off for the most part. When they got that initial combo onto the Joanna, the stuns, into the Hunter's Mark, we saw 7-sided strikes used from the Karazim, and then we immediately saw both Jaina and Lunara move forward into the 7-sided strikes, negating a lot of the damage onto Joanna, and that is part of the reason why we're starting to see him less, is because it's just easier to counter his ult now that you know how to play around it.
Looking at some of the talents that we have, by the way, Panda Global almost with those level 16, so they're going to have another really great advantage as we once again get into the Immortals, and this time we have Bruisers pushing into both of those lanes, but we do have Unfettered Assaults for Greymane. That will be nice because it does increase the lunge range when he is using that, so that's going to be a really nice pickup if he needs to use that for escape.
Level 16 here for Panda Global, pretty big advantage. And all 5 of their heroics are up, Gilly. They're ready to fight if they need to. And again, here's just another big advantage. I mean, Panda Global seems to just have had full control from this game from the start. You know, they're not even trying to contest. They're not even looking to force fights ever. They'll go for picks when they see Collusion overextended like this right here. They do end up missing the Stormbolt though. Big condemn, 7-sided strikes goes down. Great Shadow Slot and a good Maw in the back. Look at Big Impact with that flank, and immediately Sonya goes down. They come out, nice Lunar Flare. That's going to be a triple kill, and Joanna falls as well. They're going for Dark Chimera. He's trying to get behind the wall. Stormbolt does end up missing. He is just barely going to survive, but I think they're going to go for Core, Gilly. 25 seconds on Sonya and the rest of the team. They're going for the push.
And that's the power of those Bruisers. It was already pushing the lane up. They're going to have a great minion push along with that too. They don't have to really try to push out any minions to get to the core. Still 13 seconds up until they have Sonya.
Wow.
It's only Dark Chimera here to try to defend, and that will be it. Panda Global is going to take game number 1.
5 versus 1. Catapult's helping us at 30%. GG. Panda Global takes game number 1.
They did a great job.
Really, really well done from Panda Global. I mean, you saw the slow start that they had, Gillyweed, where they're being more patient. They weren't willing to contest, but that was exactly what their plan was the whole time. They got that lead, and they just played safe, they played smart, and they snowballed that into a victory.
They also were really good about making sure that they were at the objective as soon as it popped so that they could get such a big lead. And we even saw the time that King of Blades tried to defend it, it was too much because of the amount of poke that they had. They just continued to poke down until eventually they were able to get a takedown, push King of Blades off, and then be able to get another Immortal.
Yeah, it was just really, really well done. I mean, Som played very well on that Greymane. I mean, his damage was out of control. His positioning was very, very solid throughout the entire game. It was really, really well done from him. And the rest of his team, I mean, that flank that we saw from Big Impact on Zagar, where he got that 2-man Maw and was able to just secure his team so many kills, was beautifully executed. I mean, Panda Global showing their synergy as a team, and this is the flank I was just talking about. I mean, this was just so well executed here.
Yeah, in that last fight too, you know, they came out, they were trying, they knew that they were behind, that they had lost quite a bit. They had saved the keep, but because they lost that fight when they came in, then all of a sudden it was a situation where Panda Global were able to get the keep where they weren't before, and that was really big for them because once you get that keep down, then you have lethal if you are able to win another team fight, especially one that was as decisive as that last one.
Yeah, that was really, really well done. I mean, you know, at first when we saw these, the new roster of Panda Global, when they introduced Psalm, who at the time was like a Hero League warrior, you know, you saw him at the top of the ladder, you know, but Michael Udall swapped off that melee assassin role, and everyone's like, well, that's Michael Udall's role. You know, that's his job. But Psalm is really doing a great job of filling out his shoes, and he looked fantastic that game.
Yeah, he did. And next we're going to be up on Cursed Hollow too, and that's going to be Panda Global's choice of battleground. So not only were they able to win where King of Blades chose to make battle, but now they're going to be on a place where they feel very confident and comfortable.
Yeah, it's just really, really well done from both these guys. We'll see what King of Blades wants to bust out for this game. I mean, I don't know if they necessarily lost in the draft. It's just they never did anything to get control of the game. They just kind of were letting Panda Global play their game. And you let that happen, you're going to lose every time.
Yeah, I mean, the one time we saw them come out, they picked up 13. They were like, we're on the same level. They've stayed over. They're underneath our keep. We can go. And it just didn't turn out in their favor. So what do you think they're going to have to do? You think it's going to be something as much as turning around a draft then? If the draft looked fine to them, what do you want them to do?
The best thing that you need to do when you're one of these teams, you know, the up-and-coming one, you haven't really developed a play style for yourself. You said, is play to your strengths. And we saw them try and do that with the Morales pick over the Uther, right? They played to their strengths, but in-game, you have to play to your strengths as well. And King of Blades, they're normally known for the rotations, you know, just being in your face. You'll see them do what Naventic likes to do with invading camps and stuff, and I don't think we saw a camp taken until 8 minutes into the game. You know, they had no aggression. They stayed on side of their map. They need to play to their strengths. You know, they did so in the draft. They just need to translate that to the game.
Well, you know, too, they had just come out from their games with Naventic, and that was a pretty quick 2-0 versus them. And so, of course, that can bring a lot of nerves into this. Like, oh, our lives are already on the line. Now we have to go up against our friends, immediately go up against them. You know, so I think another thing they should do is just take a deep breath, shake it off. Take one out of Taylor Swift's book and just shake it off a little bit to make sure that they can come back into this. Exactly.
Shake it off.
Little shaken.
Really, you know, King of Blades, they need to clear your head. Like, because, again, this is an elimination match. Their tournament life is on the line. And a lot of these guys, they're newer to the competitive scene. Like you said, I believe Frozen X, you said he was the youngest player on the team, probably the youngest.
Tomster,
excuse me. You know, 17 years old. You know, these are probably, I mean, all 4 of the 5 were at Heroes Rising. Right. So they do have some LAN experience, but this is, you know, this is a Blizzard stage, right? This is, you know, a lot more nerves on the line.
So different, yeah. And this is going to be, their second LAN. That was their first outside of competing from home experience.
Yes.
But also, this is the first competitive game for every player on the team. Now, that is true for some of the members of Panda Global, but not all of them.
Yes.
B-Kid has a lot of experience from other games, too.
As well as Big Impact. I believe he was Challenger in League of Legends.
Okay, so yeah.
So, they're both experienced with these games, and then of course, even though this is a lot of Panda Global's first competitive games, you know, they've been competing since, you know, a year and a half ago almost, you know, where a lot of them were introduced to this game through Heroes of the Dorm.
Exactly. Well, okay, we've got our next draft underway. It will be Cursed Hollow, as we said before, with Panda Global up 1-0, and we are going to have Zagara and Rhaegar banned out. It makes a lot of sense for the Zagara. They got punished for giving that to Panda Global last time. They had great Maws. The creep was difficult for them to deal with. Panda Global always had tabs on King of Blades, always.
Thrall, Toms are really fantastic on this hero, but this is Panda Global, this is Cursed Hollow, and they first picked Falstad, and this is arguably Falstad's best map. Mighty Gust, especially around those boss points, can completely win you a game just off of one heroic.
Man, Michael Udall played so much Falstad in the qualifiers.
Yes.
Too. Like, that is a hero. They're happy right now that they were able to pick this up. But King of Blades are unhappy because, like you said, they have Thrall. So far, both getting some comfort picks. We'll see what Panda Global chooses. It's going to be Tassadar to add to that Falstad.
Okay, so a little bit of sustained vision. I mean, Tassadar's fantastic on this point, on this map. You know, you have the point contention for those tributes. He's got a lot of stall. He's got a lot of survivability. So no surprise seeing that picked up there. King of Blades, Alpha. What will we see here? I mean, we've seen them from first pick. They like to pick up warriors here sometimes, specifically ETC, so we could see that out from them. And are they afraid of the Morales? We saw Panda Global banning out Lieutenant Morales versus Zix from Tempo Storm, knowing the power of Morales, so they might want to do that here as well. But it will be Li Ming.
Now, did we have Li Ming from anybody from Noventic yet? Or anyone except Noventic?
Yes, Soldier played it as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so we're starting to see a lot more Li Mings from these teams. I'm really excited that we have another mage that everyone is enjoying.
Yes, she's a lot of fun, and if you saw game number 2, I mean, I have no surprise seeing King of Blades Alpha. With what Fan did to them game number 2 on Dragonshire, you want to use this here. And it's actually going to be Brightwing. Okay,
Yay!
so one of your personal favorite heroes, probably your personal favorite hero overall.
It's easy for her to be my favorite when she's the best hero in the game.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Okay, Gilly. Brightwing, great versus the Falstad. You get the split soak option to help you keep into the game. You know, you don't fall too behind because Falstad's going to be sitting in those lanes the whole time.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how it's going to be utilized in this map. It's definitely a really interesting pick this early on.
Yeah, it is going to be nice for her to match with the Falstad too. Both have that global presence now and being able to have the phase shift, but she can struggle with the healing now. So I'm wondering if maybe we will still see something. King of Blades has before run the damage Karzim if they wanted to go that route. I'm not sure if we'll see Karzim plus Brightwing though.
That would be weird.
That would be weird. Plus we already that's Tomster who plays that.
That's like Blaze tier of weird. Okay, we're not casting them quite yet, Gilly.
You're right, I forgot.
It's okay. I know Zuna is also a fan of damage Karzim. I remember a few months ago he was like, it's for real. It's fun. We'll see here what the next ban's going to be. Lunara denied by Panda Global for King of Blades. Next ban can be directed at either a support or a warrior here. Depends on what they want to play with. I mean, potentially banning out B-Kid's Muradin, as it is terrifying. I think he only missed 2 Stormbolts that entire game. At least that we saw, so really well done. It's going to be Jaina. They're going to deny a lot of burst damage. That's limiting the damage. There's still Grey main available, which we've been seeing a lot lately. Let's see what they want to pick.
So much damage taken out there in the bans between Lunara and Jaina, and even Lunara from Panda Global, and they have been playing her before, so I'm really interested to see what exactly
Tyrande for
you're
sure.
going to do. Yeah, you think it'll be Tyrande
Oh,
Tassadar?
absolutely. On this map, especially with the Owl build
how
becoming
much they'll be able to deny
so
between
much poke,
Tassadar and Tyrande.
We saw on Tomb of the Spider Queen versus Tempo Storm, they ran Tyrande, so it's a style they're very familiar with. They know how to play this style, and there's just like the vision just for scouting bosses, like you said, denying the tribute caps. You know, so good, and that's going to be ETC picked up from Panda Global. Really good warrior here. Battle will be stage dive. It's really good on this map, as is one of the bigger ones, but Mosh Pit's just so good.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, picking ETC into like Brightwing, Polymorph is easy to hit. I mean, they're going to have the potential for Sundering too, although you never want to use a Heroic as the reason to stop a Mosh Pit, but we could potentially see it. I would love a stage dive, a nice rock concert going on.
Double warrior stitches. Okay, so it's more than likely going to be Tassadar as that, or Tyrande as that last pick. We'll have to see. You know, I'm not too big a fan of the solo support Tassadar. It's really big in Europe. You see
it is so big. Like
there.
5 or 6 teams, I think, in Enter the Storm were playing it. But yeah, Panda Global has been playing a lot of Stitches plus another warrior, and a lot of times running with that slam build, which used to be
we saw that earlier today.
Build of choice. Yeah,
from them specifically, actually. Who was it that was playing the Stitches? Wasn't B-Kid.
No, I think it was B-Kid, and then Psalm was on the ETC.
That's right, Psalm was on ETC. So yeah, they will be that slam build. We'll see how it goes. Your last 2 picks here for King of Blades. They still need a warrior. With both Stitches and ETC denied, I think the only options are both Muradin and Joanna from the current meta pool. Let's see which one of those they want to lock in. And do they want to potentially pick up the Tyrande to try and deny that from Panda Global?
I mean, Muradin and Joanna are both going to be nice when it comes to hooks, because you have Dwarf Toss to be able to get away, or Iron Skin to try to get away to get back to your team, so they can sit in front and try to stop that. But so far the denial from Panda Global looks really good. Okay, it's going to be Muradin.
Muradino, the cappuccino himself, making his appearance. Will it be the Tyrande? I mean, you deny it from Panda Global. We know they like that Tyrande Tassadar style. You also get the Miranda combo of Muradin Tyrande, which is just so... I mean, we saw Panda Global execute it time and time again, to where they were even getting Joanna to like a 3rd HP every time they did the combo on her.
Would they do something like a Grey Main Thrall here?
Nope. It could be Vala.
Oh, okay, so it isn't going to be Vala.
That is Not what I was expecting.
We haven't seen a lot of her.
No, she's always going to be like, you know, a nice, safe, consistent pick. But
Yeah.
with the assassin pool getting bigger and bigger, I mean, Greymane, who's people are starting to figure out how he's got, you know, good survivability, great damage, and, you know, the ability to secure kills
Yeah.
with the resets as well. So, you know, he fits that role very, very well. You know, it's definitely an interesting pickup. I mean, even Raynor, you know, we still see more than Vala. And that last pick's going to end up being Karazim. We talked about this last draft. Karazim, Tassadar, that combo was very relevant for a very long time. I mean, Karazim as a solo support was struggling to keep up the heals. That's when Tassadar was introduced to try and, you know, get a little bit of extra survivability here. But really interesting comps from these two teams. Gilly, I mean, I think I'm leaning a little bit towards Panda Global's draft. I love the double warrior style. It's very fun to watch, and I love seeing the new Stitches builds. They're quite enjoyable.
Yeah, they're going to have, you know, so much sustainability, too, when it comes to the fights around tributes. Those fights can last a really long time, so having a double support there, too, two tanky heroes up in front, and then Falstad to continue to poke wherever needed, and then until they can secure a good hook, and then from there take them out, potentially with a 7-sided strike once you get to level 10.
Well, King of Blades Alpha, well, to see what they want to do here. I mean, they do have a lot of damage. This is a lot of damage, but we also said the same thing about Tempo Storm's draft versus Panda Global in game number 2. They had a lot of damage that game as well. Actually, the only difference was Vala instead of Jaina. Okay, and they're both really good damage, but it didn't work out for them. That's a very squishy lineup. If they get caught, especially versus a Stitches hook, you're going to die. So, yes, that is a lot of damage, but they have to position perfectly, and it's very, very hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the vault for Vala, but Li Ming, those teleports have got to be on point. But here we are going to see our two rosters. Anything interesting to you there before we get into our game?
I'm excited to see Talking Trees play Li Ming. He is really great ranged carry, very fantastic, and it's a very difficult hero to control. You see a lot of people with spells, with their positioning, and get punished for it. He has to play very, very careful versus both B-Kid and Psalm, because they will be looking for him to overextend, and they'll be ready to punish it.
Will be Frozen X playing that Vala, and here we go, guys. Game number 2 between Panda Global and King of Blades Alpha.
This is it, guys. This could be it. Tournament life on the line for both these teams. And on the left-hand side of the map, in the blue trunks, up 1-0 in this best of 3. It is going to be Panda Global, B-Kid on Stitches, Psalm going to be playing ETC, Michael Udall on the Falstad, Big Impact playing Tassadar, and rounding out the team is going to be Akaface on Karazim.
And King of Blades Alpha, they need to win this game to stay in the tournament. Are in red. We have Frozen X, who will be playing Nope. Frozen X is going to be on Vala. We have Talking Trees on Li Ming, Tomster playing Thrall, Dark Chimera playing Brightwing, and finally it'll be Collusion playing Muradin.
Well, we'll see how these two teams want to play this out, and we will be seeing that it will be the slam build yet again coming out from B-Kid.
Heavy slam.
To be very careful of these hooks. I mean, we talk about the hook catches. What is the actual term for it when you hook people into those little nooks down below?
The U-hook.
The U-hook, yes. That is, gotta be very careful.
Deadly.
It's not something we've seen in a while, as most teams have learned to play against, but I know B-Kid's going to be looking at a lot of damage going down the Collusion, and this is what I love from Panda Global. A lot of teams are afraid to do damage to a frontline warrior, but they just unloaded on him, and he's immediately half HP.
All right, so they've cleared out their minions. We're going to see them start to spread out and see what the lanes are going to be. It looks like Tassadar will be heading top for Panda Global. They're going to keep Stitches in the mid. With that heavy slam, more slam damage, he can be able to clear out those waves a lot easier, and then the tri-lane on bottom for them. We'll see how much they can get done.
Now, you have to be very careful when playing with Brightwing. Her heals are not something that just gets thrown out until she gets level 10, until you see that blink heal. So you have to be very mindful of just taking additional poke. You know, we saw Collusion get very low in that initial damage. Brightwing can't do anything besides polymorph disable. And Frozen X getting very, very low. Wow, just the aggression from Panda Global right out the gates.
Yeah, they talk about how much aggression is important to them and how big of a factor it is for their team. And we're seeing it right here with how they are playing. And we'll see that throughout this game as well, especially around those tribute fights. But for now, it's going to be Thrall and Tassadar duking it out up there in that top. Thrall, very good solo lane hero.
Yes, one of the best. Tassadar, not as good, but still one of the better ones because of his safety, his ability to wave clear. He won't win the lane versus Thrall, but he will survive it and not take too much damage here. A lot of damage going on to the back line of Panda Global here in the bottom lane as Akaface and Psalm getting poked down very, very low, but good heals from him so far. In the mid lane, we're going to be seeing both B-Kid and Dark Chimera. I mean, it's Stitches versus Brightwing. Not much you can get out of this lane.
Yeah, not the most interesting lane, but the bottom one is definitely the most. King of Blades, really good job with knowing exactly when those mercenary camps start to spawn, and they're going to pick this up in hopes that the tribute will spawn in the top lane, and those siege giants will get a good push into the bottom onto some of the structures. But speaking of push, look how much Panda Global are getting done. They've been able to take out a tower. They recognized that people left and went to the giants, and they instantly turned up that aggression.
Yes, and they know that the two people that left are Murden and Vala. So if they do rotate back down, how much of a good gank can Murden and Vala get? I mean, they don't have the best follow-up for each other. So, you know, really great heads-up play from Panda Global to read that and make up, you know, the push off of it. Taking a look at these talents, it will be the pure multi-shot build from Vala. Lately from Vala's, we've been seeing that hybrid style where you get the multi-shot talent level 1, then you get the siphoning or the arrow talent at level 4.
Speaking of cool talents too, Brightwing, Arcane Barrage, increasing the range of that Arcane Flare by 50%, making it so that she can stay safer when she throws that out, but still be able to contribute to the damage for her team. But the first tribute's about to spawn, Zoya.
So pretty big advantage right now for King of Blades Alpha. If they look to force a fight, they can have Brightwing teleport down where Tassar, he's stuck up there if Brightwing leaves. He has to rotate down on his own, and a lot of damage going on Saul. I love this decision from King of Blades Alpha. They know that they have a big advantage with this, and Brightwing teleports in. The hook goes down. Good body block still to cover trees. Can they get it? A nice hammering over the wall from Falstad to delay that.
Now this is big for Panda Global because they have Tassadar up top still soaking. So as long as they don't lose anybody, but they do lose Stitches, first blood of the game goes to King of Blades Alpha.
That's exactly what they needed to do, but a little bit quicker. The moment Brightwing teleported it in, they needed to get that kill and secure the tribute. But because of like what you pointed out, big impact sitting top, yes, they got the tribute, but they're behind on experience because of that. They just need to do what they just did a little bit quicker.
Well, they are starting to rotate back up now too. We'll see if they're able to catch back up for that too, but for now, a lot of lanes, a lot of waves were lost to that. And once again, we're seeing King of Blades really utilize the mercenary camps. We saw them sit and wait on those siege giants until the moment when the tribute was starting to spawn so that they could get some soak of that. Even though the tribute was bottom, they still are trying to make sure that they do that with getting their bruisers as well. But Panda Global doing the same thing.
Well, we do see that level 7 has been picked up by both teams. Still very even experience with that slight lead over to Panda Global here as they're taking their bruisers. King of Blades just got theirs. It's going to be pushing down mid lane for both these teams. And just waiting for that next tribute to spawn, Gilly, as it's way too early for them to contest a boss.
Li-Ming was thinking about level 7, but it is still going to be Seeker. Tassadar in a bit of trouble here, but still should have Dimensional Shift and will be able to use that to get away. Just barely dodging that Feral Spirit. That's scary.
You know, these are the things I talk about when I say he's starting to become a great, melee assassin. It's just a little bit of tweak to that timing, and he could have killed Tassadar. You know, it just shows you his aggression, and once he gets over that newer stage of him being part of the game, he'll have a good understanding. But Panda Global going to easily get that tribute there, and almost completely uncontested.
Now, the positioning of that is very defended for Panda Global, and it could have been a situation where all of a sudden someone gets hooked over that wall and into the team, and King of Blades just lose somebody. So they were willing to give that up. They got the first one. They've caught back up in experience. They're trying to push into this mid lane and get whatever damage they can, drain the ammo, and there goes a hook down. Immediately, we have a teleport away by Talking Trees.
Yeah, no one going to fall down in this fight. About a half-level lead right now for Panda Global, though, as we're getting closer to those heroics, Gilly, and Panda Global going to be looking to make something happen with that advantage. You see Michael Udall comes up. They're doing a lot of damage to Collusion. Dwarf tosses down, but I don't think it matters, Gilly. That is a very dead Dwarf. Another kill, or first kill for Panda Global this game.
Yeah, really great by Panda Global to see that rotation in with Falstad too. Did miss out on a bit of the lane soak in the bottom, but knowing that it was pretty well pushed and Brightwing was just coming in, he's going to be able to make it back here in time for this wave, but potentially lose that tower as it does go down to the minions. And here comes the next tribute. Now this is the opposite position of the last one. It's in the defended spot for King of Blades Alpha, but Panda Global almost with those heroic abilities.
Yeah, very, very close here. They might, King of Blades might just have to give this up. They're very close to 10, but a lot of damage going down onto Tosser. Body. Oh, Som just barely letting him through. I think he was a bit worried about the tower damage as it does hit significantly harder now, but the tribute has spawned here. We see B-Kid, the first one to rotate from his team. Very close to level 10. Trees is going to try and stall this out, but he has to be careful not to get punished by Som. The Collusion coming in from a big flank. Can he get the stun on the Aqua Face? No, Tassar does absorb it. Really well done there from Panda Global.
Yeah, just in the nick of time as King of Blades now has picked up their heroic abilities. Speaking of those, Panda Global are going to get Mighty Gust, 7-sided strike, Force Wall, Mosh Pit, and Putrid Vial.
And then on the other end, it'll be Sundering, Avatar, Blink, Kill, Disintegrate, and Stray. Pretty standard heroics this game, Gilly. I don't see anything that's too crazy here as King of Blades. trying to keep up on the experience. They're not too far behind here, but this next tribute for Panda Global will be a curse.
Seems like Disintegrate is the favorite. Do you see much Wave of Force, Zoya?
No, not really. Even in compositions where, you know, you lack interrupt versus an ETC or something, like say you just have no stunts, you still tend to see Disintegrate.
Yeah, the ability to use that and be able to just burn somebody down and then get the critical mass, the resets for her abilities, and then have it again right away is just huge.
Well, we do see that King of Blades is doing a good job of keeping in this game. The next tribute should be spawning very, very soon. Michael Udall soaking the bottom lane here with Dark Chimera here, but a gank is coming down. He blink kills to the minion, but the stun from Psalm is there. The body block is down. Can Dark Chimera get away? And no, that's going to be another kill for Panda Global right as a tribute spawning, but 3 members of Panda Global are in the bottom. Can they make something happen here? They collapse on Big Impact, but they do not end up getting that kill. And now Akaface is here. The team is very, very split. Falstad's still soaking bottom. He hasn't flown up just yet. He's starting to move up now. Can King of Blades get this? Talking Trees does not get interrupted by the storm. Big Impact messing that up, and it goes over to King of Blades Alpha.
And they were able to pull everyone up from Panda Global up instead of having Panda push in and maybe get that free fort, but they do get a good force wall into 7-sided strike, and Talking Trees is eliminated.
The mosh pit does go down. I like the idea of pulling him with a hook into the mosh pit, but it did not end up going there. That is a heroic down, and that's a long heroic Gilly. 2-minute timer on mosh pit before it comes back and be able to be used. So Panda Global has to keep that in mind going into the next tribute. They might not have it up at the start.
Maybe he was just dancing because he was so happy because they got that takedown on leaving.
Well, when you show off like that, Gilly, you sometimes get punished. So we'll see if that's going to be the case here. Panda Global still with a half-level lead as they're going into level 13. King of Blades Alpha needs to make up that experience before the next tribute. This is a big one. The bosses are contested around this time, and that's a curse for both teams. So this is a super important moment for King of Blades.
But they don't have 13. They need to be getting that as soon as possible. They get Bruisers, but nobody in that mid lane just yet. They do have Vala on bottom, Brightwing up and top, and it's nice because Brightwing will be able to stay as long as possible and phase shift into her team, hopefully being able to get her team back onto the same talent tier as Panda.
Well, we do see level 13 here first. They're very close. They should be able to get this. Michael Udall playing so patiently here. Oh, and Frozen X might be in a lot of trouble. Michael Udall doing so much damage by himself. He doesn't need teammates. That's a very dead Vala.
Wow, so much single target damage, and now with that, instantly King of Blades are just going to have to move back, eat this curse, try to lose as little as possible. Now they still have all of their forts up, so hopefully they're able to not lose too much here, but they need to make sure not to lose any more heroes, or it could be a situation where Panda start to get super aggressive.
Looks like Panda Global's opting to go for 3-lane soak. Not quite yet, as they have no one top, but they're not going for any bosses just yet. They're just looking to soak experiences. Michael Udall's pushing bottom, and the 4-man of this team are pushing mid. And I don't know if this is actually the best decision here. They're barely getting this front wall right now. They're down to 40 seconds left on this curse. They need to make a more decisive action. Yes, they're getting that bottom fort, but I think they should go contest the boss. They get a lot of damage down onto Collusion here. He does pop Avatar, though. Sundering comes out, and this is not a 5 versus 5. It's 4 versus 4. BK taking a lot of damage from that strafe. He's trying to get away, but Michael Udall comes in with a big gust to keep his team alive. Akaface trying to top off everyone here. Big Impact trying to heal people up as well. And everyone has rotated into fight. Nice stun going down on the Taskar here. BK coming up from below. That's the death of Leeming. Good kill from Michael Udall there. But at the same time, Stitches goes down to Tomster. And now Michael Udall's in a very bad spot. Barrel roll end up failing, but Tomster right on top of big Panda Global members there. Nice shields and saves coming out onto Falstad. He gets hit by the polymorph, but Taskar goes on. And a big mosh pit catching 2 more members there. That is Brightwing and Murden potentially going down. They're going for the chase. Barrel roll used. Will they get the last kid? And yes, they do. 4-for-1 exchange in favor of Panda Global.
That is such trust from Panda Global. We saw the pings go down. They knew that Michael Udall was going to be coming in that way. They moved in so that Akaface was able to save him, and then a huge mosh. That mosh was so incredible from Sam. That was a big play for them now because although the curse is over, that's 3 people down for a few more seconds, and they're going to get these towers in front of the keep. Open up the keep for potential pressure later on, maybe with a boss, maybe if they can win another team fight. And with that, they have a 2-level lead now, Zoya.
Almost out of nowhere. That just shows you the power of winning a fight when you have that big curse. It gets you so much experience. Yes, only 1 fort went down, but they got a lot out of that. Really well done from Panda Global. Taking a look at the level 16 talents. Gilly, do you see anything out of ordinary?
Nope, but full-on Stitches slam build. I love it. Pulverize picked up. That's 75% slow once that slam goes down.
Yeah, such a fun talent to watch. It allows you to reposition yourself, allows you to get catches that you normally wouldn't. And when you get that increased range on the slam, you can get hit from pretty far away. And here we go, seeing a boss contention from both of these teams. King of Blades starting the boss in the top right, where Panda Global going for the one in the bottom left here. I don't think either will be contested. Michael Udall cannot fly up there and gust that one by himself.
Are you surprised to see Glass Cannon versus Stitches? Believe me?
Yes, but yeah. I think so.
Lots of damage. I mean, like the range from Illusionist would be really nice.
I think that they're just afraid that they won't be able to kill the front line, and they're looking for as much damage as possible, because that is a very
Makes
tanky
sense.
front line, especially with the Tassar and Karazim heals. You really need damage. I mean, Michael Udall's positioning has been fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in these really great positions. It's hard to kill him, and everyone else is going to be hard to kill because of Tassar and Karazim keeping them alive.
And Michael Udall has really great gusts too. Like
Yes.
they're always so impactful, being able to get his team away. And once we see him, very likely to get Epic Mount at 20, we can see him go for potentially those really scary-looking gusts where he flies back behind a team and then pushes them back into his team. But now the boss is being cleared up. No keeps down on the side of King of Blades, even though that was opened up earlier on with the push. And finally, the King of Blades boss will be taken out as well, just in time for another tribute spawn.
Now, every one of these tributes is a curse for King of Blades Alpha, and they're almost on even tiers with Panda Global, so they need to get that experience. They have Brightwing soaping top, but the problem with that is the boss has pushed in so far, he's not getting any experience, but they do end up getting that 16. But the zoning from these double warriors is so good that Akaface gets that almost uncontested.
Yeah, I mean, the Force Wall too. The 2 warriors plus the Force Wall, that's not something you want to cross at all. Now they're starting to come back in. Brightwing is phase shifting in where possible, trying to make sure that that phase shield is on. The 7-sided strike goes down. Hassam trying to get away, does get pretty low.
Michael Udall completely zoning out Talking Trees, though he hasn't been in this fight with his team at all. Putrid Bile popped by B-Kid, and there's going to be no follow-up for this fight, so we'll just see 50 seconds left on that heroic. Every heroic is still up on the end of King of Blades Alpha, so they may be looking to force a fight sometime soon. And again, that next tribute gilly for them, they want it desperately.
Yeah, everyone is just on the line for Panda Global because they don't want to give up the advantage that they have structurally. They've only lost 1-4 in this thus far and still been able to open up the keep for if they can push in later on and potentially get the win from that too. So now their hook goes out, only catches a minion, though will not be a takedown just yet.
No, not yet. B-Kid been very conservative with his hooks this game. You know, he only throws them out when he thinks he can get a hook. And you know, just being as patient as he possibly can here. Collusion being chased. Will the damage follow-up be there? B-Kid gets stunned. Nice job from that. And they're looking to force this fight, Gilly. We do see Michael Udall is soaking that top lane, trying to push it in. You know, they're trying to maintain this experience lead going into level 20.
By the way, you talked about wanting to try to take down that very tanky front line of Panda Global, and we have double Giant Killer between Thrall and Vala. Yeah, exactly. So no frost shot there. It's all about just trying to burn someone down. Yeah, exactly. When you have that multi-shot build, frost shot is definitely the one you want.
Yeah, you go the multi-shot build for frost shots. That's what that build was invented for, was that slow, the chase. Here, but a lot of damage going down. Big disintegrate from Talking Trees, but it doesn't seem to matter as they immediately lose their frontline warrior. Tomster trying to get a big kill, and a big strafe from Frozen X. A lot of damage going on the back line of Panda Global, but can Akaface keep them alive with big impact? And so far, he's doing a great job of doing so. It's still a 5 versus 4. A lot of damage coming out from Talking Trees, but can they secure kill? Michael Udall is so low in HP. A nice stun coming out from Psalm, but he gets polymorphed. A big hook comes down on the Tomster, though. Disintegrate already back up. Tomster does end up going down, and still no one has fallen on the end of Panda Global.
This double support is insane from them, too, and they're chasing down. They're trying to get into position to zone out so they can pick up the tribute, and with the great Force Wall, eliminates Brightwing as well. 3 down, and still everyone from Panda nice and alive.
Really well done. They're going to get these bruisers. They're now tied on tribute counts 2-2, and Gilly, the bosses are not far off, a little bit over a minute on each of them. So when that next curse happens, there's going to be bosses ready for them.
We'll see who can get that. Man, this is just fantastic for Panda Global that they got to 2 versus 2 on tributes, got the curse, and are now back up to that same spot. They're ahead in experience. They're nearly able to get those Storm Talents, and once they have that, they're going to have a nice, healthy window as long as King of Blades can't catch them out right here. So it's really important that they don't, really get into a fight unless they absolutely have to.
Well, we do see that Panda Global so close to level 20. King of Blades desperately needs to win this fight. I feel like if they lose this tribute, that is game for them. Not only will they be cursed, but they will be down 20 versus probably 18 at the time, Gilly. They have to win this fight. This is it for them. They're down 0-1. And it's a best of 3, Gilly. If they lose this game, they're not only out of this match, they're out of the tournament.
And man, it would suck to go home so early on, but that is what happens as we are going to have a pause come in. Both these teams want to make sure that everything is going perfectly for them when so much is on the line, just like you were talking about, Zoya.
Yeah, we'll have to see what we're going to do to fix this. But, Gilly, I mean, taking a look at the game, Panda Global is in a fantastic spot, but it's not over yet for King of Blades Alpha. They still have this small window of opportunity. They have to win a fight, and I don't think they can barely win it. I think it has to be kind of one-sided. They need to get a significant amount of kills because they're so far behind. Even if they get the tribute and they get a single kill, they're still going to be fighting 20 versus 18.
Right, but they haven't lost any keeps, importantly.
Yes.
If they can win that fight, they'll get that comeback experience. And because it's so late into the game, it will be,
That swung around. I believe I saw 75% at one point for Panda Global, but people seem to like an underdog. King of Blades Alpha, Tournament Life on the line. That's turned around, so the viewers showing who they're cheering for, at least in this match, Gilly.
Well, don't forget that you can continue to vote in that using the hashtag HGC and a hashtag of the team you think is going to win it, or the team you want to win it, whichever you want.
Well, Gilly, I mean, what are you expecting for level 20 talents from Panda Global? I mean, what sticks out in your mind? I don't even know if you can see that from over there.
I can see it. Good. Probably Rewind, Tassadar.
Yeah, the extra shields. I mean, look at that last fight, for instance. You bring up Rewind. Look how low everyone was, but big impact, and Akaface did such a fantastic job of keeping everyone. And think if you have Rewind on Tassadar for those double shields, I mean, that just adds so much more sustainability to your fight.
I don't know if we'll see Transgression for the 11-sided strike, or if we'll have like a Storm Shield.
I think both are pretty good. I mean, Storm Shield, the extra survivability, these two lack the true healing. And if they do get those big combos off, like, I mean, that strafe did massive damage in this fight specifically.
That strafe was huge.
Look how low they got. And this is such a good disengage from this team, though. I mean, the Putrid Bile in these tight chokes, I mean, you have to keep in mind it does that slow, so being able to kite back is really important.
Yeah, that saved them.
Yes.
Because Thrall was coming in. He wanted to be able to get, he was. He was trying to be able to capitalize on that huge strafe, but it just wasn't enough. And then when he did join the team of Panda Global, it was not on his terms as he got hooked in and then taken out.
Yeah. And we'll have to keep an eye on how this game goes. I mean, despite it being a solo support Brightwing, I mean, you have to give it to Dark Chimera. Keeping alive, I mean, this is a lot of great damage coming out from Michael Udall in the front line, slowly whittling him down with that Tassadar. I mean, he's doing an excellent job. I mean, this is the perfect composition for a Brightwing to be up against, just because the damage there isn't a lot of it, and he's able to keep up his team reasonably well as a solo support.
Yeah, and he does have the polymorph if needed, if they can catch somebody, or then especially if they're able to stop if there's a big mosh pit. But so far, we had the mosh pit underneath the towers. Yeah. We had that mosh pit there that just narrowly missed some people there too. So
almost hooked someone into it. That would have been cool.
Yeah, it would have been awesome. It was like, you will dance with us. You will.
Well, we were just talking about the damage, Gilly, and how Panda Global is lacking some. I just kind of want to go over how much they're lacking. Right now, both Li Ming, Vala, and Thrall are the top 3 damages, from 55,000 to 45,000, with Thrall being the lowest of the 3.
Wow.
Next highest damage in this game is Stitches with 34,000 hero damage. Michael Udall behind with 26,000. So it just shows you how much damage that these guys have with the Li Ming, Vala, and Thrall. But Tassadar and Karazim are doing an excellent job of keeping them alive through so much just raw damage. That's why it shows you, these raw damage composition. We saw it fail versus Tempo Storm, or with Tempo Storm using it versus Panda Global, and they have the numbers here, but they're just not able to secure out those kills.
And it's hard. Like, you have to be very concerted with Karazim and Tassadar too, because you have to make sure that you're spreading out all of your heals and your shields to make sure that nobody is getting too much, so that someone else can just get turned and burned down. But don't forget, guys, you could join the conversation on Twitter. We want to know how you are loving these games, so use the hashtag HGC. You can tweet at me and Zoya too. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, let us know, guys, what you're thinking of these matches, and who you're cheering on throughout the day. I know everyone's going into this like an Eventic fan, a Cloud9 fan, but this year's different than last year. The teams are very close in skill. It's a much different situation than we had in 2015, where it was mainly Tempo Storm and Cloud9 who dominated the NA scene. Where I honestly feel that Eventic is probably going to make it to Korea, but that second spot can be anyone's game.
Man, these strafes have been huge.
Yeah. The problem is, though, it's huge AoE damage, which is great, but you can't secure a kill. That's where Vala struggles compared to a hero like Greymane. Greymane's got great AoE damage with the Ganelian Cocktail build, but being able to secure a kill, guess what Greymane can do? He can definitely do that.
Just go for the throw.
Go for the throw.
And then go for the throw again.
And then go for the third again. The resets, they are real.
They are. A couple of heroes we've had recently with big reset abilities.
Both Li Ming and him. They have that option. We saw that utilized very well by Fan from Eventic. I mean, arguably the best player in the world. He's got the most seasoned result as far as a competitive player, being not only a BlizzCon champion, but he won Heroes of the Dorm.
Exactly. Yeah, and Heroes of the Dorm has been going on now, but it looks like we are ready for this game to get back underway as another tribute spawning, and this is going to be the big tribute, Zoya.
Yeah, this is it. This is a curse for both teams, and they have to win this. They're doing a good job so far. A lot of damage going down on the B-Kid, but Gilly, they're so close to 20. This is their window of opportunity. They need to force a fight right now, but all 5 members are here for Panda Global. They're going for the cap, but ETC with the flank. Psalm being so patient for it. A lot of damage going down again onto B-Kid, but the interrupt does happen to Frozen X. No cap to hit, and that's 24 Panda Global. A lot of damage coming up from Talking Trees. Can they get B-Kid? He's so very low. Disintegrate comes out, but a little bit too late. And now ETC super isolated, actually. Panda Global splitting up a lot here. Can they get this cap? Frozen Axe going for the cap. Psalm coming in from the side. A big gust, though, and Collusion's going to fall.
Collusion is down, and now up against level 20 without your big frontliner. And King of Blades have to be so careful, but a strafe comes out, and they have taken out Karazim. But Psalm gets polymorphed out of the mosh pit, and they're continuing in this fight, Zoya.
King of Blades is winning this fight. Thompson's getting healed up, and they get a 3rd kill, a 4th kill on Michael Udall, and they get themselves a curse. Dark Chimera trying to keep up Frozen X. Big impact, not going to go down here, but that reset on Li Ming secured additional kills, and they're able to snowball that into a bigger win here. And oh my god, Dark Chimera keeping alive so many members. This is a curse. They have a keep exposed, and 35 seconds onto Karazim. Can they go for core, Gilly?
It's going to be, they're taking down the bar. Yeah, they took down the wall. They're going after the keep. They're doing massive damage to it too.
25 seconds on Karazim.
Tassadar is shielding it, but that's only going to delay them just slightly.
They're going for core.
They're going for core. They are going to go
20 seconds on Karazim. Tassadar's doing the best he can, but I don't think it matters. The shield is down. It's falling very quickly. 13 seconds until Karazim's back up, but it doesn't matter. One fight is all it took, and King of Blades Alpha is going to take game number 2, Gilly.
Talking Tree still barely alive, somehow alive, and able to make sure that they do take out this core. That one fight, they had so much damage. All they had to do was win that fight and then just go straight in there, take out the keep, and then with that massive damage they have, take out the core on top of it. I can't believe what I just saw.
Not only were they behind the entire game, Gilly, but they won that fight 19 versus 20.
Yeah.
All it takes is one win, one fight, Gilly, and that is it. That's all. Oh, wow. King of Blades Alpha showing you why they're my dark horse this event, because that was almost perfect. That comeback, that fight right there was so good.
That was nuts. I can't believe it. I hope that we get to see that again here in this replays, because that is just insane how they were able to do that. But you know, their positioning was so good in that setup. They really had them in that choke, and they knew that Panda was going to have to come in because of this
force
tribute.
wall right here. This is so good. Collusion, they knew he didn't have Dwarf tossed out, and this is where I thought it was over for King of Blades, but this reset, with them clumping up like that, immediately taking down the Karazim. I mean, what a great fight. The mosh pit was there, but watch this polymorph. He teleported in and instantly got it off before oh, wow, Dark Chimera, you won this game for your team, man.
He's a beast. He's so good. 4 people down, and that shows the power of Li Ming. If she starts to get on a roll like that, nobody is safe.
I don't have any more words, Gilly. That was so impressive.
I can't wait to hear what Anna thought of these games too, but oh my gosh, that game number 1. But now, don't forget, Panda Global are not out of this yet, because it is a best of 3.
Yeah.
And because of that, we're going to game number 3.
But yeah, we'll see here what King of Blades Alpha wants to do in this next game. I'm curious as well. I mean, it's going to be Infernal Shrines, Gilly.
Oh, okay, so Infernal Shrines will be the choice. That is the choice of King of Blades Alpha too.
Okay, so this is their comfort map as well, so that's really, really good for them.
Yeah, this was their most picked, actually, win in the qualifiers, so they were picking this one a lot. They're going to be on Infernal Shrines, which is where they're going to feel most comfortable, and we'll see what their composition will be going into that, as we'll have the draft pretty quick. Yeah,
we'll have to see what these guys want to do. King of Blades. Oh man, what an explosive end to that game. I mean, I think most people will count them out, but who needs bosses, right? All you need to get is one curse. One single curse, and you can close it out on that map. Really, really well done. And look how calm they look, too. You know, they're not letting it get to their heads. They're just trying to clear their heads and get ready for game number 2. And now, this is a scary situation for Panda Global. I mean, I think a lot of people thought they were a shoo-in for this matchup, but now they're tied 1-1, and both teams now, tournament lives on the line. And momentum is so important in these kinds of things too. The fact that King of Blades were behind that whole game and still with that one team fight came back, that's just a surge of confidence going into game number 3. Absolutely. Whereas Panda Global are sitting here saying, what happened? We had that in the bag. Yeah, they lost 20 versus 19. That is That's got to be very demoralizing. That's almost an assured win. I mean, really, really well done. Just shows you the power of those resets on Li Ming. You know, we talked about the raw damage that they had as a team. You know, they are all on top of the meters, but whenever you're able to actually secure those kills, you see what happens on Li Ming.
Snowballs.
Yes, snowballs
so
very hard.
much. It's like, oh, I just had a giant laser. Thank you for letting me have another one and another. All right, well, soon we'll have the draft guys between these. It is going to be King of Blades Alpha with that second pick because it is their battleground choice. Panda Global will get the first pick, first ban, and here we go. 1-1. Tournament life. This is the game that eliminates one team.
Yes, and this is a very important match for these guys. They want to, I know Panda Global probably looking to get a rematch versus Tempo Storm in that final deciding match, but King of Blades, they're here to make a name for themselves. I feel that, again, I've said this before on streams and stuff. At Heroes Rising, I was very unimpressed with this roster, but the changes they made to their lineup as well as just how much they've been grinding this game, they are improving at a rapid rate.
These teams are such great friends. They play against each other all the time. They practice versus each other. And King of Blades Alpha actually mentioned to us that they see Panda Global as a rival. They've been knocked out of some tournaments by them before. And although they are a rival, it's a friendly rival. So many teams actually think that. I think about Panda Global because they're just such a fun team. But it's a friendly rival. So no matter what, no matter who loses here, there's not going to be any bad blood between them.
Yes. Psalm getting denied the thrall yet again. But by his own team. Like, you know what, Psalm, we don't want you on Thrall's game. He's like, ugh.
We also don't want Tomster on it.
We also don't want Tomster on it, because we're not going to first pick Thrall, but they will get him.
Oh, yeah.
Orc Boys banned out yet again, Gilly. Seeming to be heavily contested here on the North American scene. First pick coming up for Panda Global. There's a lot on the table. You've, of course, got the Jaina, the Falstad. I mean, like you said, Michael Udall's Gus were on point that entire game, except for that last fight, I feel. It was great at isolating the Muradin, but I don't think he would have lived either way. And it will be the Falstad. Very good on this map. The split pushing he gets, I mean, the Immortals themselves don't do great split pushing in the early game, so having that Falstad to just, kind of give a little extra damage on those front walls, as well as, clear up camps and stuff, really important on this map.
Yeah, and then be able to fly in and help your team with a shrine fight whenever possible. But that's going to be the first pick. We'll see what King of Blades choose to grab here, if we'll have an early Lunara, because it is Infernal Shrines. Zagara still is up, and that will be the first choice here. What will they grab for the second one?
Who played Lunara in game number 1?
It was King of Blades.
It was King of Blades. Do you remember which player it was? Was it Talking Trees?
Talking Trees or Frozen Ice?
It was one of the two. I don't remember. They did a fantastic job game 1. Their positioning, their aggression was almost perfect. We talked about the Wisp using the Wisp was very well executed as well. So would like to see them on that Lunara, but they're going to go ahead and lock in Zagara and Jaina. Zagara considered the best laner in the game, and heavily contested across all the regions. You don't see a single region where Zagara doesn't have a very high involvement rate. And of course Jaina as well, one of the highest involvement rates across all 3 scenes. So no surprise there, but wow, Panda Global going for not only the Gray main, which I believe will be played by Psalm, but Stitches as well.
Yeah, I think I've seen Big Impact play him sometimes too.
Yes, Big E is really good on Gray main.
It just depends what their full composition is.
His Gray main, game number 1 versus Tempo Storm. Wow, he almost soloed the entire Tempo Storm lineup by himself. Just Panda Global wasn't on the same page. I mean, if there was any follow-up on the plays Big E was making game number 1 versus Tempo Storm, that could have been a completely different set. That was really well done. So if it's going to be Big Impact, I'm going to be really, really excited to see his Gray main again. Mid-tier bans coming out. It's going to be Sonya and Zeratul. More melee assassins getting denied. That's 3 of the Bruiser-type characters. Zeratul, Thrall, and Sonya all denied here. King of Blades Alpha, they don't have their melee assassin this game. I mean, Illidan is still on the table, but you only really see Illidan when Rhaegar's available.
Yeah, that is something that Tomster can play, but not sure if they'll be feeling like picking that up. I do like the Jaina grab though. Mages on Infernal Shrines are really nice because you can steal away so many of the skeletal defenders on the shrines from the other team. But I think we'll likely see that standard Stitches Slam build potentially. Maybe with the indigestion in the last bite. I think when we saw them pick Stitches on Infernal Shrines, they did at least get last bite, but I don't know if it was indigestion or if they still went with the Mega Smash.
Now, for the most part, Kael'thas is completely gone. We almost never see him anymore, but he's really good on this map. The Flame Strikes for poking the shrines are really good, versus Greymane specifically. It's a pretty fun matchup that I've seen, Greymane versus Kael'thas, but it requires the Kael'thas to play perfectly. He can't miss his Flame Strike, he can't miss his Gravity Lapse, and he has to play that almost perfectly. So, will be a mouth. Ooh. Not a fan
For
of
those
this
of you
pick.
guys know, Zoe is not a fan of Malf right now.
No, not a fan at all. Malfurion definitely at the bottom of, well, no, Lily, but second lowest on that support tier list.
How can you be so
And
sad about the panda?
Malf he's against his hardest counters here. Stitches, great versus Malfurion. You pull someone out of Tranquility or you pull Malf away from his team. Falstad, Mighty Gust, great versus Malfurion. Greymane, so much burst. Malfurion can't heal through that. This is a really shocking pickup from King of Blades Alpha, especially since Dark Chimera is such a big fan of Lieutenant Morales.
Yeah, it's interesting that Lieutenant Morales isn't here, but maybe they're even more scared of a hook onto Lieutenant Morales?
Maybe.
I mean, either way, there's just no escape.
Malf makes sense versus like a super sustained composition, but that's not what Panda Global has. They have, yes, Falstad, who's one of the best, if not the best sustained damage in the game, but Greymane's got great burst. The Stitches hook can completely isolate a character and just, what's Malf going to do? He has no gap closer like Karazim or Brightwing does. His heal is very slow. It's not burst healing, so by the time he gets to that target, guess what? It doesn't matter if you pop Tranquility and a regrowth. Most of that healing is healing over time. They're still going to die here. So this is really interesting to see how Panda Global wants to play around the mouth. I feel like they won't have any trouble with that. And this last pick here, are they going to go for a double support? Tassadar and Tyrande are both still available, or will we see a damage? There's still Lunara is available. You talked about how she is great on this map.
Yep, but
I think that's too squishy though for me.
yeah, also they usually run Stitches not by himself as a solo warrior.
ETC
So
still up.
very likely that we'll see.
Oh, Diablo.
Diablo!
Nice.
The Lord of Terror has emerged.
Really, really good, cool composition here from Panda Global. I like
the
it.
displacement between Hook, Overpower, and Shadow Charge.
Now, so the thing here is there is some okay damage on the end of Panda Global. No one goes Lightning Breath anymore. If they end up going Apocalypse. Panda Global can't just straight up fight the King of Blades Alpha composition because they'll lose that sustain war. That's what Malfurion and Zagara do best. They have to go for picks, which guess what? Diablo and Stitches, they're the best heroes at that, especially when you mix in Mighty Gust. You get a hook, you get a Shadow Charge flip combo, you gust away the rest of them. That is really, really good. So Panda Global, they can't just straight up brawl, but they should have no problem winning this game.
I really enjoy Psalm's Diablo play too. Whenever we see them dual warrior with Psalm on the Diablo, it's always really fun to see because he's really good at timing the Apocalypse and especially of being able to overpower someone right in, and then from there he's gonna. There's no escape at all.
Well, last pick here, and it's going to be Leoric. Okay. Leo, we still see quite a bit in Europe, especially in the double warrior compositions. Korea still sometimes does run solo warrior Leoric. So this is going to be an interesting game. Leoric is great versus these double warrior lineups because his W is percentage based. So the bigger the health pool, the more damage it's going to do.
Once you get Crushing Hope, that's even more at 13.
This is going to be a tough game for King of Blades, though. This is going to be tough. They have decent wave clear. Yes, the Leoric's Q as well as Night State Punk don't work on the minions on this map for the Infernal Shrines, but they still have great clear as well as Jaina. Zagara's clear is okay versus this, but the problem is with Banelings, you'll sometimes only hit one minion because of how spread out they are. So they've got good wave clear. I would say it's a little bit better than Panda Globals, but they have to find a way to force themselves onto the point. And I feel with the front line of Diablo Stitches, it's going to be really hard for King of Blades to force their way into the point.
Yeah, especially because so many of those shrines, it's a choke to try to get in there too. And if you've got those two frontliners with Stitches throwing down slams left and right to be able to take out minions, they are going to have to get on there. So we will see here are the lineups. Don't forget that this is the last game. We are at game 3 of the best of 3, and it's an elimination match, Zoya.
Well, here are our teams, guys. B-Kid and Psalm, again, that double warrior lineup, so terrifying when they run it. But King of Blades Alpha, will they be able to close out this, again, elimination match? Guys in chat, get hyped. Let us know who you think is going to win this set because loser is out of the regionals.
And here we are on Infernal Shrines, and we've got in the blue Panda Global with Akaface playing Lieutenant Morales. Big impact this time will be on Greymane Psalm playing Diablo, Michael Udall, of course, playing Falstad, and finally B-Kid playing Stitches.
And on the right-hand side of the map in the red chunks, it's going to be King of Blades Alpha. Dark Chimera playing Malfurion. Tomster playing Zagara. Collusion going to be on Joanna. Frozen X playing Leoric. And Talking Trees rounding out the team on Jaina. And look how close that poll is.
Close.
But King of Blades slightly edging it out of Panda Global. I mean, people love the underdog. But Gilly, I want to point out something right away. Lieutenant Morales going with Scouting Drone. We see that sometimes. but it's a bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, you give up trauma trigger,
Yes.
which is really big for her survivability. If it's not trauma trigger, then it's the extra second prolonged safeguard. So giving up both of those things is big, but it will be really nice to have that vision around those shrines, and especially because of the Jaina flanks.
Yes, the Jaina flanks are going to be huge, and guess what? There is no real hard engage on the end of King of Blades. How is someone going to get to Lieutenant Morales, especially with how well Akaface positions himself?
Yeah, it's going to be tough, and even tougher now with the vision that they'll be able to provide. As we are starting to get into the lanes, it's going to be Michael Udall versus Tomster. Falstad's going to not have a great time with that, though, because Zagara is so strong in that solo lane.
Falstad is a great solo laner, but again, it's another situation where he doesn't win the lane, he can just survive it.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's going to definitely be one by King of Blades. Creep spread already going down, doing a good job of that. Nice push here in the bottom lane coming out from this trio of Big Impact, BKid, and Som. They're trying to get a little bit of aggression here. I love this coming out from King of Blades. You know, the last few games, they've taken the passive seat, and, you know, the few moments of light we've seen from them is when they get aggressive and go for some kills, and I hope that's what their play style is going to be this game.
Yeah, King of Blades are the ones who are controlling that mid to bot up down with the 4 heroes, and they're the ones who are going to be pushing their minions onto the towers, trying to drain the ammo a little bit. As you can see, it was already happening in the mid. Now, whenever they leave, then Panda Global can try as hard as possible to push that bottom, but meanwhile, King of Blades just going to stay mid, be able to pick up a tower, and get a nice experience lead going into this first shrine phase.
Front wall is going to go down. Nice job. King of Blades still with a full half-level lead right now versus Panda Global, and that shrine just about to spawn, Gilly, and it will be a... I didn't see what kind of shrine it was.
Oh, we'll see soon. I didn't either, but Entangling Roots went down. Saw him in a lot of trouble. He's going to try to get through a great blizzard, though, and he's not getting away from that. The body blocks from King of Blades, man.
This is exactly what they've been needing to do this entire set, is get aggressive, and that's what they did. The heavy rotation there. They're not going to let Panda Global play their game this time. They are going to be in their face, and that's great. That's how you should play versus this double warrior lineup. We talked about the lack of damage because they're running Diablo Stitch as well. They're going to show that, and we're seeing a different build as well. It's going to be a tanky build from Stitches this game. We're not seeing the slam build.
Yeah, recognizing that they are going to need to have very tanky, strong frontliners because of the damage that can be put out. And that means that they won't have that extra damage from the slam that they had the last time too. But we should probably still see. We'll see if it's going to be the indigestion as well as last fight does. That can really help Stitches clear out a shrine, even though it was taken down a little bit, nerfed a little bit in one of the past patches.
So we will not be seeing a Loon's Grave on Malfurion in this game, opting to go for a little bit more healing instead. Taking a look at the rest of the towns, it will be the Condemn build coming out from Johanna as well.
Yeah, it's very likely that we see that from Johanna, especially on Infernal Shrines, because it does make sure with Eternal Retaliation, reducing the cooldown of that Condemn to have it up more often just pulls more minions in so that you can try to take them out all at once with the area of effect abilities that King of Blades does have.
Yeah, pretty standard for a first Punisher. That was a great defense, and it wasn't a 5-man push. Usually with a 5-man push, you guarantee yourself the entire front wall and some fourth damage, but because it was only 3 of the members of King of Blades, they got half of the front wall, so not the biggest advantage siege-wise, but they have a half-level lead. They're maintaining it. Panda Global on the back foot now. You know, they're not being as aggressive. We do see them taking their first camp of the game here, though.
Som has come up trying desperately to reduce out some of the creep spread. Yeah, Collusion's going to come in with this invade now too and be able to pick this up right away from Panda Global, and Panda just gonna have to walk away and try to clear this out later, and they've already opened this up too with that earlier Punisher.
Is this the same team that we casted game 1 and 2, Gilly? Because they've completely changed up their playstyle. This is 100% what they needed to do. They were just playing way too passive. They did have the option for aggressive style composition, but they're finally committing to it, and it's probably because they feel a little bit safer behind both Collusion and Frozen Lex on this double warrior composition. But Tomster probably going to lose this fight. Michael Udall, great job with that 1v1.
Yeah, nearly gets taken out. Look how many Khazra are in this lane. Big Impact goes into Worgen form, just trying to take them out as fast as possible, but a nice amount of damage on that fort from King of Blades.
Yeah, really well done here. Level 7 for both teams. Panda Global, though, because of their split lane soak, as well as that kill they just got, they've gotten slightly ahead in experience, but still a very, very even game. Kills 1-to-1. Full heal build coming out from Malfurion. Cleanse coming out from Lieutenant Morales. I mean, there's not too many hard CCs. You have the Blessed Shield from Johanna, but the main thing is avoiding the roots from Malfurion. When Diablo Shadow charges in, goes for the flip, if he gets caught in a root and blown up and can't get away, that's really bad for Panda Global.
I love that Som held the cap of those bruisers until the shrine activated. I've talked about it before, those bruisers are so strong in being able to push, but the shrine is up top, so both of them picked up their bruisers. We'll be able to try to clear those out as they're also going for the shrine.
Well, Level 9 almost here for both teams. At this rate, they're going to hit level 10 about the same time here. Bottom lane was soaked by Collusion and Talking Trees. And I love the delay arrival to these shrines. It's 40 minions you have to get. You can miss the first 10 as long as you are willing to force a fight and try and make up for that deficit here. Falstad still soaking mid. Michael Udall will fly up when he feels he needs to, but the fight is being forced. A lot of damage going on the big impact, but they do get safety behind the wall.
They're going to get back, clear out the bruisers. They were already cleared out on the side of King of Blades, so they're able to get caught back up in the shrines. But yeah, these Khazra are a bit of a problem. They don't push as hard as the bruisers do, the shaman, but it still is an issue where they're just going to get some free push because of the fact that it is so far away.
Well, we do see great positioning coming out from King of Blades off, and this was talking about. They need to force their way onto the point, not let Psalm and B-Kid bully them back, and that's exactly what they're doing. A lot of damage going on Collusion, but a big condemn coming out. No follow-up yet from Talking Trees. There's the Blizzard going down, but it does get avoided, and Joanna immediately gets punished. Without having Tranquility, Mouth's going to have a lot of trouble keeping up this front line here, but so much split damage. Michael Udall gets so low in the backline. They're still fighting this. The root goes down, and that is a very dead Diablo. They're trying to push it up. He has the souls. He will be back in this fight in 1 second. He'll have to run all the way across the map, though. Big Impact does not end up going down to the Blizzard. Will the hook from B-Kid connect with anyone? It's 22-18, and Minions right now a slight lead in favor of King of Blades, but both teams on the verge of hitting level 10, Gilly.
Akaface did such an amazing job in that fight, keeping both Michael Udall and Big Impact alive, using that safeguard when he knew that Big Impact was going to have to walk through that bigger radius snowstorm blizzard.
I love this.
And here goes Psalm with the Apocalypse, and that's what I'm talking about. He overpowers someone in. Michael Udall with the Mighty Gust. Malfurion is going to go down, but so does Diablo. Stim Drone is down on Michael Udall, but he's low. But look at all the damage from the Putrid Bile. He gets entombed, but everyone's just sitting in that bile.
There was a 2-second window there where they had 10 and King of Blades Alpha did, and there was no hesitation at all. Diablo immediately shadow charged in, got the Apocalypse combo, and that Gust from Falstad secured all 3 of those kills. Yes, they did lose Diablo, but I don't think Panda Global cares at all. That was a beautifully executed fight.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. Psalm on that Diablo, you can tell that he is just full-on aggression, plays it like that melee assassin where he's right up there, ready to go in and start that fight. And now because of this, Panda Global get an Immortal of their own, is going to start pushing now. He does get baited over in range of the fort, but they're going to just work on taking down the towers as much as possible. Collusion could be in trouble here.
Yeah, he does pop that Iron Skin to avoid the shadow charge there, gets a condemn down as well. Nice body block attempt from Michael Udall, but does not get in front of him. Good slow from Collusion. Can Psalm get his abilities up in time? Blessed Shield has to be used, though, and he does end up surviving. Short cooldown, though.
Yeah.
We'll be back very soon.
Yeah, not a big deal to have to use that. Now, with the Immortal down, still no forts down on either side. That mid fort is very low for Panda Global, but they've gotten their momentum back in this game for sure.
Well, good rotations coming out from Panda Global as they're starting to secure themselves some camps and still maintaining that 3-lane soak here. Taking a look at the structures. Mid fort's almost down here for Panda Global. Top fort took some damage on the front wall, but didn't completely go down on the end of King of Blades. And then, of course, the bottom left fort for Panda Global as well has taken some damage. So, you know, nothing has fallen just yet, but there's a lot of exposed forts on both sides that can be pushed in later on.
Yeah, it's a very even game thus far between these teams. Experience very close. Panda Global with a slight lead heading toward that 13. Michael Udall going to start pushing back. Tomster using that Lightning Rod to its full advantage, but getting pushed back by the Hunter Killer as well. So, as we talked about it before, man, Falstad, it's tough to be 1v1ing with that Zagara.
Yeah, it's a tough lane to win for sure. Zagara so safe and so aggressive with their spells. Level 13 here for both teams coming up. Still a slight lead for Panda Global. They're up 5 kills to 3, but I feel like they're behind on structure damage. You know, they've been pushing a little bit more. That's just a good job from King of Blades Alpha here, but they need to get back into full momentum. It feels like their aggression has almost stopped. But here in the bottom lane, actually, a collapse coming down. There is the Entomb going down. Psalm definitely going down. Does he have the souls to res? And he does.
He does, but this is a big push using the Water Elemental, and this fort is out of ammo. It is going to go down. That will be the first fort of the game, and King of Blades Alpha with that will start to get a little bit of an experience lead, but both have 13 as this next shrine is about to activate.
Yeah, this is 13, and this shrine does have the Immortal pushing bottom lane. As we're getting closer to the 10-minute mark, Immortal start being a little bit more viable for those pushes, and that is a very exposed keep down there. They can get that front wall down very easily. Shadow Charge goes down onto Frozen X, but not too much damage going down. Psalm has to reposition himself. Michael Udall actually in a really awkward spot, but gets a lot of damage down onto Leoric, and Tranquility popped really early here from Dark Chimera. I don't know if that was needed. Yes, Frozen X X was low, but maybe just let the Leoric die because he can res very quickly in the same spot. But BK gets the hook on the Dark Chimera. Apocalypse goes down. Ice Block used from the Malfurion. He's inside of a Blizzard from Talking Trees. He's going to try and kite back after it. But that's going to be the death of Zagar as well as Malfurion. They're going for Talking Trees. Big Impact does not secure the kill, but he does end up getting it after Ice Block falls. Collusion going to go down as well. A 4-for-0 exchange here. Actually, no, a full man wipe. Panda Global, what a win.
Man, Panda Global just cleared the room, and I have to give it to Big Impact because once he got going into that Worgen form, he really took advantage of that go for the throat and the fact that people were so low from that. And all of a sudden with that, a fort's going to go down. They're going to be able to pick up a Punisher, and now level 15.
Top lane 2, Gillyweed. They had the Bruiser camp. We talked about that. You cannot leave these Bruiser camps in the top lane. They spawn an infinite amount of these dogs. As long as the Shaman's standing, it will push all the way to the core if it needs to, Gilly.
Yeah, just now starting to be cleared up by Frozen X as he moves in, and this is going to be an Arcane Punisher pushing in toward that bottom
The fort did
keep.
fall top too, so that's just even more experience getting him closer to 16.
Looks like Panda are not going to choose to push with this. They know they are still looking to get level 16. Maybe were fairly low after that fight too and wanted to kind of regroup, get back. Instead, going to push into that middle and just get that split push. Maybe try to take down that final fort. So no matter where the Immortal spawns, they'll make sure that it's pushing onto a keep.
Well, Tranquility up in 7 seconds, 20 seconds of Maw, and then every Heroic will be up on the end of King of Blades. I like the decision to not push with this Immortal here. It won't get too much damage done. When you're sieging into both a Zagara and a Jaina, that's going to get cleared up really quickly, so I like the option from Panda Global to push mid lane and secure the third and final fort of the game.
By the way, we've got kind of like a damage Moralis here. With upgraded ballistics, it does more damage, increases the speed too, but then also second opinion.
Interesting.
So a second grenade now being able to throw out, and maybe just adding to the displacement that the team already has.
Yeah, they're just wanting to do a little bit extra with that Lieutenant Morales here. I mean, he's not really being threatened, not really being contested. So, without Jaina getting those flanks. Now a 2-level lead here. 17's about to be hit from Panda Global, and this is the scary situation for King of Blades Alpha, where they still have a full level to go until they have 16. By the time they have that, Panda Global's already going to be level 18. They're already going to be so close to those level 20 talents. So, King of Blades Alpha on the back foot, but we saw this on Cursed Hollow. They just need one fight, and they can swing this in their favor.
Man, I like what you said about Morales not being threatened, and you can see that from the get-go. We talked about the scouting drone. There's Stitches and Diablo up in front. They're going to have infinite ability to be able to keep them safe, and even from there, Greymane and Falstad have been positioning even in front of Morales. Morales really is like the furthest back. Som not necessarily afraid to get taken out too, to go out of Morales' range, and they realize that, we have the souls. He will be able to come back, and in that amount of time, we can get a lot of takedowns, even if we do lose Som.
Yeah, it's a very Mercablo-esque style. We saw that from Leorki, where Leorics are willing to die over and over again just to get a little bit of extra pressure. Now we have the Mercablo, where you're not afraid to die, Gilly, because you'll be back in that fight very, very soon. So really cool style that we're seeing coming out from Som this game. Pops up every once in a while when Diablo does get picked here. Level 18 almost picked up from Panda Global. Still a quarter of a level to go until King of Blades Alpha has that 16 tier.
Good scouting drone, being able to see if they're going to start to move in, but King of Blades not wanting to do that until they can get caught back up in that talent tier. And then there's only going to be there's a limited amount of time where they will be able to try to get into a fight and get back into this, because Panda Global are 18. They're already looking to try to pick up their level 20 Storm talents, and with this too, once again, getting their bruisers, so then that's going to be yet again the ability for that to push while this shrine is activating.
Yeah, it's so hard for them to run away. I mean, they need to send Jaina top lane to clear out those marks, but a hook does end up going down. A very early Iron Skin has been popped by Collusion. A lot of damage going down on the B-Kid in that front line. He's getting very low. Can they get the kill? Gus comes out. He is so low, and Putrid Bile was popped, but he's not going to go down. This is a big win for King of Blades Alpha. They have to heal B-Kid up, but all it took was a little bit of Aka Face, and of course his self-heal to top him back off, but that was a lot of heroics used there. Actually, only 2 as Mighty Gus and Gorge were used. Frozen X getting very, very low here, and Tomb goes down, but it doesn't matter. He's going to fall. Malfurion does have the Tranquility. Ice Block has been used. He's doing a good job of keeping up his backline, but Leoric is still dead for 30 more seconds. He's trying to get back into this fight. They have to back out of there, though. They've used all 5 of their heroics, Gilly. I don't know if they can contest this anymore.
That's going to be tough as they're going after Collusion and Blizzard to try to zone, and a great condemn pulls Diablo into that. He will be back in a few seconds, but still has to run back to the team, and they realize as they're coming back. And look, Frozen X almost back into this.
Akaface has no mana to keep his team up, and that combo was so good. Can they get the kill on the Grim? And then they do. Michael Udall trying to kite back Frozen X, going for the chase. How long until Entomb's up? 15 seconds, so won't be using this fight, but they have to reposition themselves. Akaface needs to find a way to get mana. He is so starved right now, and the damage is too much, and it goes over to King of Blades Alpha. They're still on even tiers, and now they have an advantage. What are they going to do with this time? But look at that top lane, Gilly. The Bruisers have taken down the front wall of this top keep.
Yeah, that means that they have to respond to this, even though they did win that Punisher. And I have to shout out, man, that numbing blast from Jaina was so on point.
Yes.
Oh my god,
if only
so
there was a
good.
Blizzard on top of that, that would have been perfect. That would have been a
Right.
double kill immediately. They did end up getting the Greymane, but Falset was just barely able to survive. So not much is going to be done with this Punisher. It does secure the first fort on the end of Panda Global. Actually, they did get bottom lane with Tomster going down there, so only one fort stands. But the problem is they're still behind a full level, Gilly. They need to find a way to get back into this game. The next Punisher spawning will be one spawning around the time Panda Global's getting 20, so they might just have to give that one up.
The nice thing for Panda Global too is because of the fact that they still had that fort, yes, it was low, but it still provided enough of a buffer that they were able to take down the Punisher too. That's no longer there, so that's good for King of Blades, but it also means that there wasn't really any sort of damage being put onto those front towers, and that keeps going to stay nice and protected.
We do see that Michael Udall soaking this bottom lane here. All three lanes being soaked as they did just clear mid lane. They're going to rotate top. This should be getting them very, very close to that level 20. This just shows you the value of Falstad on a map like this that's so big. I mean, there's no way to pressure this Falstad when he's this far down here. But all 5 members of King of Blades Alpha looking to potentially get a pickup here. That's what they need to do, but still, level 20, very close for Panda Global.
Yeah, we'll see if we're going to get that epic mount for Michael Udall, or if we'll have something like Nexus Frenzy. But now we've got King of Blades pushing in. They know that this is their last chance. They're rapidly approaching being down that very important Storm talent tier, and with that are going to push in with their Bruisers and get this. But yeah, this is going to be scary. Can they get away in time?
They're
Here
going
comes
for
Michael
it.
Udall.
He does not go for the gust, though. A little bit too scared. They do get the dismount onto Leoric, though. They're going for the chase. Oh, a little bit of hesitation on the end of Michael Udall. Hook does not end up connecting with anyone. I feel if Michael Udall would have went for the gust, that would have been a surefire win for Panda Global, but he just did not want to overextend and end up getting punished for it. So going for the safer option instead of, the aggressive one.
Well, now they are going to have to clear up these Bruisers. Should have a Shrine spawning pretty soon here. Let's look at the Storm talents that Panda Global did pick up. We have Bolt of the Storm on Stitches. By the way, it is going to be Fishing Hook this time, as it wasn't this slam build.
Yes.
Lord of Terror is going to be really big for Sam. If he can get in the middle of all of King of Blades, they might be able to make something happen. Hook goes down. Ice Block has been hit, but it immediately gets hit by the Apocalypse 2. Malfurion trying to keep Talking Trees alive and might be able to do it, actually, as the Water Elemental and the abilities slowing them down. Michael Udall in the bottom getting chased away by that Mutalisk, and they are going to have to pop Tranquility, but everyone survives.
Really sloppy fight on the end of Panda Global. What they should have done is use Gust to zone everyone else away from the Jaina, but instead they pushed everyone closer to the Jaina. The Jaina rotated up and around. Not everyone of Panda Global collapsed on Talking Trees. I felt like that was a free win on a free kill on the Jaina, but a really interesting Gust and a really weird way to split DPS that fight. I feel like that was really sloppily executed by Panda Global.
Well, they know, I like this, that King of Blades knows that everyone at Panda Global is trying to take down that Shrine as fast as possible and pick it up before King of Blades gets level 20. So with that, they're invading. You wanted this. You asked for them to invade, and they did. They picked up the Bruisers, and those are going to push on to keep, so that someone is going to have to deal with this, and it will be Michael Udall.
Yeah, Michael Udall flies up there, means one less person. He doesn't have fly up to get back bottom lane to help push with this. So this is a 5 versus 4. They're sieging into a keep, which gives King of Blades Alpha the advantage, as well as they're about to have level 20. So King of Blades, they should not take any serious damage with this. Now, Mortar Punisher is very good at sieging. You do see how much AoE damage it does, and it's good at clearing those waves, but it's already down to lost a quarter of its HP. It's getting burnt very quick versus this lineup. Hook comes out, nice juke from Dark Chimera there. Falset has made his way down to the fight, but can they get a kill off of this? Frozen X is getting stunned. A lot of damage going down onto Leoric. Tranquility is still 8 seconds away, Gilly. This is really bad for King of Blades Alpha. I didn't realize how far away his heroic was. Gust goes out. They're just going to secure themselves the first keep of the game and try and disengage, but they're going for this. Frozen X does have Entomb up, but nice knockback from Morales to make sure that didn't happen.
Yeah, that was a great job too. By the way, they still obviously also had Samu could push people back if he needed to. Not sure if he has all of the souls that he needs to survive, but could have been an option should they have needed it now. And Invade, making sure that they just steal this on their way out. They're like, thank you, we'll take your keep, and also just grab this on our way out if you don't mind.
Will be indestructible at level 24 Joanna here. I mean, Gilly, I'm looking at these talents. We do see Bolt of the Storm on Stitches. Such a fun talent for Stitches to have. These Bolt hooks are such a good playmaker. Do you see anything out of the ordinary?
Will be Storm Shield on Malfurion. That will hopefully help with the amounts of damage that are coming out from Panda Global.
Reactor.
Yeah, a Caduceus Reactor 2.0. Such a good talent.
Yes, so good. Such a game changer for Morales.
Yeah, look at already how much of a shield Akaface has.
Yeah.
Being able to have that sustain a little bit longer.
Oh, the collapse.
Yeah.
They're coming in. Collusion goes for the dismount with the blind here. Can Frozen X get anyone caught in an entomb? He gets big impact with the condemn. They're trying to force a fight, but a big hook goes on the Malfurion. Tranquility Ice Block popped very early. They need to disengage as Panda Global cannot fight this with Tranquility being popped. And oh, this is so bad for King of Blades. You have to be careful for when you pop Tranquility.
Yes.
If you panic use it, you get punished like this.
And now, because Psalm can Shadow Charge in, Collusion's in trouble, is going to try to turn this. The hook goes down onto
bolt.
trees, and Bolt of the Storm has to be used. That's 70 seconds until it'll be back up again.
Oh.
Leoric takes a bunch of damage. Devouring Maw is down, and it grab anybody. It did grab 2 people, and actually Michael Yudo, who had the stim drone. Blessed Shield hits, and Diablo is down.
He has got the souls. He'll be back in this fight eventually. King of Blades trying to get the kill on the big impact. The Frostbolt does end up missing. Condemn comes down. They're clumped up. A lot of damage going on the Collusion. A big Blizzard going down. There's a big Apocalypse as well. Follow up. Frozen X going for the reposition, but still no one else has died. Diablo's almost back in the fight. They have to back out of this. It was a nice re-engage from King of Blades Alpha, but they should have left, I think, when that Maw went down. I don't think they needed to try and fight that again without having their heroics up. Now it's 60 seconds before they can fight again because they don't have Maw. 40 seconds on Tranquility. Heroics are a little bit less important on the end of Panda Global, where everything on the end of King of Blades Alpha, they need these heroics to win team fights.
Yeah, and they are going to have to respond, which means to the push on the bottom because it was at core, which means they're going to be later to this shrine, just starting to move in. They have Collusion and Frozen X trying to disrupt as much as possible, but it's still a situation where Panda Global are already halfway done with the shrine.
Tranquility 15 seconds away. They're still willing to fight this. We'll see if they're able to force this fight. Mighty Gust is up for Michael Udall. He's looking for the flank to isolate the team. If he can catch Dark Chimera and Trees at a weird angle and get the front line here with Tomster, Frozen X, and Collusion, that would be a good fight for King of Blades. Still 3 seconds onto that Tranquility. Now it is up 10 seconds on Devouring Maw. Water Elemental has been popped. Talking Trees looking for Michael Udall, but the Water Elemental actually just sitting in this bush. Talking Trees, use your Water Elemental, man. Micro it.
Oh no, and that's huge because once that's out, that's a long cooldown too, or they're not going to have that and they can't do as much damage, but Psalm is taking some damage, has to have Safeguard on. Akaface barely keeps him alive. Oh my gosh, he's so
God, that
low.
Gust saved Frozen X so bad there. Jaina's getting very low. That's going to be the death of Greyman there. Psalm getting very low. Akaface doing the best he can keep it up, but the Punisher has spawned. Michael Yall has to get out there. Psalm's going to end up going down. Does he have the souls to keep himself alive? No, he's dead for 65 seconds. Akaface is going to go down, and will King of Blades Alpha be able to win with this Gilly? It's 50 seconds on Greymane. It's a 5 versus 2. And they're still is Devouring Maw up. They have a Punisher. Can they end here?
Okay, so they have to still go through the wall and the keep. Michael Udall will have Mighty Gust up in 9 seconds, and it's him and Stitches. B-Kid baits it over the wall, starts to move away, does not want to get caught by the entangling roots. They're going to move it so that they can just try to take this out. They have to sack the keep for sure, but if they can take this out, maybe it's going to be tough. Zoya.
They're going for the keep, and they're looking for core. 20 seconds on Greymane. Can Michael Udall and B-Kid stall out for his team? They bait the Punisher down. That's exactly what they need to do. But the core is exposed. Michael Udall looking for it. Is this going to be an upset? Will Panda Global be the first team eliminated from the North American regionals? The core is falling. 10 seconds on Greymane. The shield is down. But at the same time, Catapulter sieging the core of King of Blades Alpha. It's a base range. 60%. It's going to be very close. They're trying to stall us out as well as they can. But I don't think it matters. King of Blades Alpha, have they done it? 10%? That's it. King of Blades Alpha upsets Panda Global.
I hear them yelling. They are so excited to be able to upset that. They talked about how Panda Global was their rival. It has to be so good to feel that they're finally able to take them out. And that will be our first elimination of the day, Zoya.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky enough that we get to watch these team scrims. We have seen the growth of King of Blades, but the community has not. They have improved so much over the last year, or over the last few months. I mean, wow, what an insanely close set.
So many times, you know, they were able to just have such a decisive team fight in the end. And I feel like a lot of times when you have those newer teams, it's the team fights at the end that start to be the harder ones, you know, to win. But the fact that they're able to win those very decisive late game ones and make something happen with it is really amazing for King of Blades Alpha. And that means that they will move on. They still have another chance of being able to make it out of this this Group A.
2 games in a row. All it took was patience on the end of King of Blades Alpha, and they were able to win 2 decisive team fights, both on Cursed Hollow and this game that won this match. I mean, we saw a little bit of sloppy team fights coming from them. We saw a lot of early pop Tranquilities, but all that matters was that last fight. They did such an excellent job, Gilly.
Now, King of Blades will be going out from, they will wait and play tomorrow. So they finally do get a break that they need, and they will play the loser of Tempo Storm and Team Navintic, which will be the match up next.
Yes, we'll have to see how that match is going to play out soon. Oh man, what a fantastic set here, and this is it right here. That Gus right there is what won King of Blades Alpha that fight. It allowed them to keep that the Yorick up. The Tranquility kept everyone up against that wall. Just a really well done fight. Michael, you all barely survived there, but man, what a great fight.
Well, let's check in with Anna and hear more from our victors.
Guys, I have Tomster right here. You came up and took a deep breath and let it out. You said that's too close. How are you feeling right now?
I'm just surprised we won still. It was insanely close. Like, I feel like we played like pretty interestingly, like bad most of the set, but late game we'd always like come back.
Yeah, people were calling this the first big upset. Was this an upset, or did you guys come here knowing this was going to be your game?
It looked like an upset, but I feel like we're decent, but I feel like it was an upset. Yeah.
I mean, I looked away for 1 second and looked back, and everything had changed. Casters, I know you felt the same way. Do you guys have any questions for Tomster?
Yeah, I mean, how do you guys feel about that game number 2 win? It was felt almost very one-sided. You lost 5 tributes in a row. Panda Global was doing a great job of controlling the map, and all it took was that one team fight. I mean, how are you feeling towards the end of that game?
During the team fight, it was like very intense. We're just shot calling, just yelling targets and stuff. And then I hit like 4-man Sunder, I think.
Yeah.
And we just rushed them down after that.
What I want to ask is, I know I got a chance. Thank you, by the way, for letting me talk to you guys the other day. And you had mentioned something, the team had mentioned how you guys feel really confident when you get Tomster-specific picks. How did you feel with the draft in that game 3?
During Bob Ross and during these guys, I think they know, so they banned Thrall a lot. They made a bunch of melee assassins to shut me out a lot. I got kind of tilted from it, but we were able to win. You did playing melee assassin.
You did bring up that you did not play up to what your standards are. How much of that is tournament nerves? I mean, you guys did end up competing at the Heroes Rising event, but this is your first big LAN. This is a Blizzard event. How much was nerves affecting your guys' play today?
It was really, I was really nervous the entire game. Like after we lost the first game, I was just shaking in my chair. Like this isn't how we go out. We have to win one.
Wow.
And we were able to.
Yeah, in game 2, actually, Tomster, I was watching you and everyone on your team. As soon as the GG happened, everyone was like, yes, or some loud scream, but you just silent, just sitting there like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened. What was going through your head?
I was just that game was so close. It was we weren't supposed to win that game for the most part. It was their game to lose. But I feel like there's another game, so I had to focus up for it because I wasn't playing that great the entire set.
Well, speaking of more games, you guys have more games to come, and we will bring them to you very, very soon. Don't go anywhere.